We begin Session 3, exiting the Cannon Fire shipping post. For a short little recap, last session was almost entirely combat. However, you guys, having found the dead bodies of most of your family representatives, had decided to flee. At least that was the original idea proposed by Cade Iscarium. On your guys' way to exit, you were teleported to the countryside. What little of it there was outside the castle by Cade. And there was a quick determination due to the flames rising from the docks where your guys' ships were posted, that it was too much of a risk, that your ships may be gone by the time you get there. So you decided to go towards the Concords call. There were fires in that direction as well, but not nearly as many. In a short moment, Bjorn, along with one other, who went with Bjorn? Was it Cade?
Yes.
I believe it was Cade who went with Bjorn.
You teleported.
Yeah, helping him get there quicker by teleporting. They ran and teleported to the nearby village on this island and were able to rally what seems to be a fairly large congregation of privateers and dock workers in the taverns and village, calling them to head towards the western port. As they rallied people, you guys all met at the cliffside and approached the Concords call, some of you having already visited it, so knowing where it was. You guys were able to lead your party and found that there was already a fight occurring, seemingly between a handful of Leviathans and other Zemnian pirates or privateers, and your own Concordian privateers, along with a few people on the Concords call. One seeming to be the captain that you guys know by the name Alaris Lightweaver. You guys approached and initiated your combat, upon which Bjorn immediately went unconscious as the assassin rogue Leviathan on a ship a ways down was able to land a critical strike on him. Combat ensued, which turned into a deadly affair, as many lives were lost on both sides. However, as the combat was drawing near, you guys were able to keep yourselves alive up until a couple very unfortunate events happened. Cade Iscarium taking a aggressive action to try and help clear one of the side ships, went unconscious and fell into the water. Namara, Bjorn, and Sean, who were all fighting one of the larger Leviathan threats along the docks, ended with both Namara and Sean Simons being knocked unconscious. Bjorn healing Namara's body, bringing her back to consciousness, and running onto the ship. Namara was soon after disintegrated by a Githyanki. Namara is dead. Womp womp. So.
Boo fuck.
Wait. Say that line again.
What?
Say the line again.
Womp.
No, the other one.
Namara is dead. What?
You have problems. No, that's pretty good.
So, with Namara becoming ash in the wind, the rest of the party was able to scramble, gather some of the items, specifically the sending stone to Jerome Carton from her pack, and sprinting around, gathering everyone. Winton saving Cade Iscarium, getting him back onto the ship. You guys were able to extract mostly safely. Many members of the Concords call died in the combat. However, some 30 to 40 sailors, privateers, and dock workers made their way onto the vessel. Very few of which, in fact, none of which are recognizable people to you guys. However, some of your party do recognize some of them. So, we begin as you guys have dropped sails and are now drifting away very quickly from the cannon fire shipping post. Sean Simons, I do believe, is barely conscious.
I
or
am
stabilized.
I am up. The last thing was seeing if he rolled to heal me. We were seeing if I would roll below a 10, and I did. That was the last thing we did.
Okay. So, as we begin this session, we are sadly obviously down some people. So Bjorn and Winton will be taking bits of back seats for this session. Not much interaction with them. Bjorn
So
is...
Bjorn, how are you doing today?
Bjorn will be deep in drink this session, as per usual, but deeper than usual. He will be mostly secluding himself as he's got a lot to think about. Winton will actually be taking a pretty active role in helping run the ship and make sure it keeps moving.
That's valid.
He was the captain of the Devil's Demise when it came, so he is used to helping run a ship. So, as we begin, what would you guys like to be doing in this moment? Are you trying to talk to each other? Are you in mourning? Are you celebrating? Are you trying to see who made it to the ship? What are you guys doing?
As I wake up from being unconscious for almost the latter half of that fight, I look around, obviously being observant, and I realize that we obviously lost Nora, and as she is technically a fallen soldier that was part of my group, I instantly go and try to find a drink as a toast of life, but also as a way of mourning the loss. And I don't bother talking. I'm in my own thoughts deep right now.
Okay.
I would like to find the captain and just kind of like observe him. Alaris.
Okay. Alaris is a female.
Okay.
Alaris is female in this
Wonderful.
case. Alaris is an Azamar woman.
Okay.
Or at least that is her current appearance. There is almost like this bright, as best as you can describe, like gray-black shroud around her at this moment as combat has just ended. She is up. There is a trio of people around her. You immediately recognize the large bugbear who was a part of the fight with you guys, still with this massive glaive in hand. There is a wood elf who soon after the combat crawled up from the lower deck and went up. He doesn't seem to be much of a combatant, but he is on his Concordian jacket wearing the lapel of the first mate.
Remind me what he was again?
He's a wood elf. And he has gone up, and Alaris and these other two seem to be having a discussion. As you kind of step up, you hear Alaris saying, "Well, it looks like some of them got on board," as she kind of looks over towards you, and she says, "How many of your crew made it?"
All but one, I believe.
Well, that is good news, at least. You will need to gather for discussion in the morning. I believe it is too late to discuss the plans, especially with so many years about. You see her kind of like wave towards the other two, and she says, "This is Genter. He is our lead for any boarding parties, and Bentu. He is my first mate. They will be operating with you. Us three will be operating with you more than just about anybody else on this ship." As that's said, and you guys begin to discuss Orville, what are you doing?
I'm just finishing collecting the items, putting the rock in my pocket, and just dusting off.
I would like to know that I would like to keep Orville in like my peripheral at all times, like
Okay.
as much as possible.
Okay. It's a large ship, but not ginormous. So you're able to do it most of the time as long as you're on the same deck.
I'm not even trying to be super sneaky about it. Like, I think it's been pretty obvious that I want
There are
them.
5 magic items that got blown onto the ship of hers. So
They got picked up.
no, he used the thing to blow
Well,
them on. So
Didn't somebody pick a couple of them up?
I was
Just
over
the
there. I
stone.
was over there collecting.
He was the one that was picking out because he picked out the stepping
So I was
stone.
gonna say whoever picks them up, I'll
Never
tell
mind.
you who they are.
I would have been the one picking up. So obviously there was the sending stone.
Mantle of the Stormlord. You can add that as an item. The Stormborn Felt Family Blade, or Stormborn Family Blade. Fell, not felt. Fell.
I used this keyboard.
Cloak of Protection. Clockwork Earwig. And Winged Boots. Plus the Sending Stone. Everything else was not magical, got fried. I'm sorry. Well, I guess there's one more set of silverware.
I probably wouldn't have that up if nobody
Oh,
else
I
did.
think we did clarify that.
So, anyway, just wanted to make sure you guys got her stuff.
So, as we continue, Thalen, is there anything in particular you would like to discuss with the captain?
Not particularly, no. I just kind of want to observe her. I mean, I've been in her room and she didn't know, so I just
Yeah.
kind of.
That's fair. So
And she's got all that.
go ahead and roll me an insight.
First roll.
31.
Okay.
That's the kind of role we want.
I want to know everything about this woman, okay?
I want to know her life story. I want to know
I want
what
to know
she
why
wants
she's
to
got all
be
these
when
drugs
she
in
grew up.
her in her rooms too, because she had the hallucinogen
So-
thing.
Yes, she did
Oh,
have
shit.
Orcus root.
She got hard.
She had a lot of it.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but enough to do some real damage.
enough to do some
And
real.
Now that's a
some
lot
real
of
tripping.
damage.
Really trip somebody up.
So, Alaris, as you look at her, she is a tall and well-kept woman, is the first thing you notice. Definitely along the lines of what you would consider a soldier. Like, this is someone who is probably spent most of their career in the probably Carton Navy. However, as you continue looking, you look at the sashes and the lapels and the medals that adorn her naval vest, as it seems they were able to don at least some of their military equipment before they were attacked. You see that she actually has a Batashu sash, meaning she's from the northern the northern Concordian region, rather than the southern in the Carton district. Let me just double check this real quick. You specifically note that you see what appears to be a lapel from the Kandaharian Shipping Guild, which you know to be the center of the Batashu district, where the Batashu family themselves reign. So prim, proper, seemingly military woman, which is definitely not common for the Batashus. But with that, you would note that if she is Batashu, she probably has a little bit more smarts than she looks like off the front side. Definitely a better understanding of the economical side of the Concord. Cartons really don't care about money, other than I have money, I spend it. The Batashus, their higher ranking people, especially their captains, especially those from the Kandaharian Shipping Guild, you would say, are often considered very, very smart people. They understand how the Concord works, how it runs, what shipping lanes to use, and generally, the Batashus don't have quite a vehement hate for the coast. They still heavily dislike the Zenian coast, but those in the Batashu districts were not nearly as affected by the coast. As even before it was the Concord, they had a better economic understanding of things, so they were able to play the rules of the coast and almost use things to their benefit. While they still fought with the Concord, and all of them signed into the Concord that Clovis wrote up, there is less of a hate and more of, they're my enemy. There's almost a mutual understanding there. Trying to think what else a 31 would get her. You note that she is wearing heavy armor, and she did use some radiant abilities, so you would assume that she's some kind of paladin. And the necrotic radiance around her almost makes you think she possibly has an oath pact with someone as well, leaning more towards warlock, possibly. Probably the biggest and last piece of information you'd be able to gain from that, the bottom shell of an insight roll. She doesn't seem to have any sense of mourning or sadness about her. If anything, there's almost a little excitement from the battle, even though multiple of the crew members she served with for a little while just died.
Okay.
So,
Am I still with them?
Yeah, I would assume you're still up there, unless you say you want to be elsewhere.
No, I just couldn't remember if they were, because they were moving away, right?
No, they
Okay.
were not.
Okay.
They're up at the helm, guiding the ship out of there. You see, it is a fairly windless night at this point. So Bentu has pulled the map up, and there's a little table up there that they've set it on and kind of nailed it down to the table. And they're discussing what route they're going to take. Because if enemies were able to get to the Cannon Fire shipping post, they may want to take a slightly different route.
Okay.
Possibly a more direct one to cut as much time off as possible. As they're sitting there, Bentu, kind of laying out the map, is beginning to point at the map. And you see he almost is declaring that they should head straight north to the Rift of Bones, straight west to the north side of the Rift of Bones. Gentar specifically has some disagreement with that. The Rift of Bones, which you would know, there's no need for a history check here, is where the largest battle of the Civil War occurred between the Concord and the coast. It's approximated that there's somewhere between 11 and 1,200 warship vessels that all were destroyed in this large area.
So there's just leftover debris, essentially? Or
So,
like, what's the...
how the legends go is the rift of that area is actually a particularly high sea level. So the bottom of the ocean in that area, even though it's deep off the coast, is only 100 or so feet below is where the seafloor is. The rift is high in the area. The seafloor is very, very high. Nobody knew exactly why, but it was decided that the battle was going to happen there specifically for that reason, as the Concord, in the trap that they set up, where Zemnian forces were heading north along the coast, the Concord had people coming in from the Great Divide, as they had made a treaty with the Avarian Confederacy to allow them to host 120 vessels of a pirate king in one of their inner cities. They had the Batashu fleet and the Kartan fleet all coming in from three sides, which allowed them to effectively box them in, and they did their best to destroy, with the Kartan coming from behind, they tried their best to destroy ships behind them to effectively make a wall behind the ships that were coming in. Since the floor was so low, or so high, they were able to stack up ships effectively, blocking the Zemnian coast from retreating, making it effectively a killing field where ships are now stacked on top of each other in just the ruins of this massive, probably 5 by 5 mile area in the ocean.
Wouldn't that cause issues for us sailing over it though? I mean,
You
if
would
it's
be
only
sailing
100
north
feet
of it.
down.
You would be sailing north of it,
Okay.
but you would be sailing very close to it, because where you guys intend on docking is the cliff sides are very, very ragged. You can't put a ship up there. It is possible, if you guys were willing to risk it, or if the captain is willing to risk it, to get close enough to allow you guys to take a smaller vessel in, as there are some rowboats attached to the Concord's call. However, it would be a very, very, very tough climb up there. You would arguably save time by going farther into the divide and making your way onto solid land, and then making your way to Ulf from there.
Okay,
It would
and what's that distance?
This distance here, from the edge of the coast
yeah.
to Ulf, just about a week.
Okay.
And your distance from the shipping post to the coast itself is also about a week. Which, remember, weeks are closer to 9 days. Which weeks are 9 days. So, to again clarify some information for you guys, I did send this out in the Discord, but I'm going to go over it again. That's the wrong chat. We want this one. Where the heck did I post it?
The cap.
To clarify the timeline for the mission. So on the 31st of Koshia, which is the day Quintus, the Concord intends to begin a blockade and siege of Penikel, the Zemnian Naval Center. So you guys have 21 days from now before the assault. The hope is to engage Maruthian hordes against the northern
So it'll take us
Zemnian
18
forces.
days just to get there to Ulf.
You guys will likely be able to make it quicker than that. And if you guys possibly sacrifice a rest or two along your way, you can definitely make it before then. But it may be close. The goal is for them to engage Maruthian hordes against the Zemnian northern forces before the blockade goes into place, to draw as many forces north. As much time as possible is obviously preferred. That way they don't see the fleet coming quite as well, because the fleet will be leaving about 5 days before then. Effectively, you may not be able to draw forces north, but you will make the Zemnian coast choose which battle to lend to their best forces, which will benefit you regardless. So, as they're discussing that, Alaris seems to agree that heading just north of the Rift of Bones is by far and away the quickest way. The original intent was to head north almost to Port Clentum, or at least close to it, and then follow the Avarian coast, as if a Zemnian ship were to attack you guys there likely would be some repercussions against the Zemnian coast, which they would not risk. But that would add a few days to your trip. Even though you guys were going to leave tomorrow, and the timeline is already tight, there was some other things that were planned to be discussed tomorrow that they didn't have the chance to make that happen.
So, and we don't have the crew that we need, correct? Like because
well,
we
you
don't
guys-
have everybody.
We took a bunch of random people.
Yeah.
You guys got a whole bunch of random people.
But did we get enough? I didn't think we got
Bro,
enough. We were still
we
looking
brought
for
a fuck
18.
ton.
We were still looking for 18 people on
Well,
top
you had
of.
18 on the ship, and you guys,
Or were we looking for like another dozen?
We got
well,
like
you
yeah.
guys got like 30 to 40
Yeah,
people.
We've got them, but
Okay.
they might not be trained.
They don't know.
They're not
Yeah.
trained
Not
to.
necessarily.
Some of them are useful, some of them will have to be trained.
Some of them will just throw off the ship.
Or you could to reduce
He
weight.
would probably be better.
The Concord's Gall also does have the ability for 16 oars on either side.
Well, it's a
For-
windless night, is it not?
It is a pretty windless night. So they're also discussing things of that sort of, we're moving, and as you note, this ship is moving a fair bit faster than you would have expected on a windless night.
Yeah, but we also kind of want to put some distance between.
We got the engines for Bass Pro Shops.
It's got the engine. You just hear.
Number one boat in the world, baby.
Sounds like we need these people oaring. Rowing this shit. I want to go over to Bjorn.
Okay.
Tell him, Bjorn, grab some people, get them on the oars, do what you want with them. They can't deny you.
As you say that, he takes a big swig. He's just got like a 5-gallon thing beside him and
Just
another bottle.
Another 5 gallons if you get it done.
And he doesn't even respond. He just goes over and starts yelling at some people. What looks like standard dock workers or such, kind of the less useful people. He kind of just points them out and starts screaming at them. Get below deck, la da da. And so they all get below deck. On the second layer is where all the oars are. They kind of dip out and into the water. There is a third deck below that. So he takes them down below. Winton seems to have recognized a pair of people from the Devil's Demise. A pair of other water genasi that are also wearing like monster hunting gear and a whole bunch of stuff. It appears that another pair of rangers have boarded the ship with him. And they're kind of off in a corner discussing at this point. As you're kind of walking around, a few people notice you. I mean, you've got a big old gun on your back.
I've got a big old.
You've got a big old gun on your back. After a short period of time, a big old flock of people who you smell the gunpowder coming from their clothes.
Bunch of powder monkeys.
You see one in particular, a gnome man who's kind of standing on top of one of the cannons right now and talking to them and like miming something he did. Just holding out one of his guns, which appears to be loaded at this point, just holding it, pointing it out at the ship. And he kind of looks over to you, sees your gun, and you hear a, "Hey!"
Yeah, yes, small one.
Don't like that.
Hey,
What kind of gun is that?
this? Is this a gun? I'm assuming I made this gun.
This is not a very common
No.
weapon.
It's a, it does some things.
Thanks.
It's not important what it is, more what it does.
Well, can you make us some?
Probably not.
Why not?
Have you seen what we have supplied on this ship?
I mean, there's a cannon right there.
There is I mean, can you lift the cannon?
No, but they can. Either way, what's your name?
Or
I see. Orville Scartan.
yes.
Ah, nice to meet you.
And you?
He kind of holds his arm up and he says, they call me Potassium.
I'm gonna like you.
I think you will. I'm the powder monkey of one of the ships. One of the ships that just got burned on the port.
Oh.
One of the ones that was about to be one of the biggest motherfuckers I've ever seen on the yeah.
Fire behind us as we're slowly leaving.
Yeah, he's just like one of those ships.
Oh.
The ones that look like
Yeah,
your
that
guys' fleet leaders in the Scartan Navy. Great vessels. Love them. These are my powder puppies.
Okay.
He points out, and there's
I love this.
and there's 7 dudes there who.
Is he
even-
Snow White? The 7 dwarves.
There actually are a fair few dwarves. There's 3 dwarves. He says, Kek, Keth, Cram. They're all brothers. Terrible mother. She was a whore in Kandahar. Picked them up when they were 12. They're 23 now. Harwin, he points out an air genasi.
Young dwarves.
Docto, a water genasi. And then he says Penny and Jerry. They fuck.
I figured.
I mean, with base ass names like that.
Yeah, they have to.
And it looks like y'all don't have a powder monkey or a crew.
I mean, we have something.
Y'all got 14 cannons. I don't see 28 people here who can operate those cannons.
Phelan! I call you, I'm just calling you over. Come here.
I'm gonna swagger over.
Still got your big ass hat on.
Still got my dad's hat on. It's huge. It's obnoxious. It's a
way
weightless
too big.
knife, so it's not even looking cool. It's just like super flat.
How do you feel about making this little goober in charge of cannons besides us controlling them?
And what's the goober's name?
They call me Potassium. He pulls out a banana.
He likes guns, and he's got some
My
powder
arch
puppies already.
nemesis Potassium.
You gotta keep the scurvy away, man.
Stick the whole thing in your mouth and you can do it.
Oh.
Hey, she's the
You
boss.
see him break it into 3
No.
parts.
Job's yours. Nice to meet you.
She's the boss.
That's just coming out of the corners of his mouth.
Oh,
He
really?
does not have a large mouth. And he
But he
says,
knows
"Why
how
are you
to
asking
pack
about shooting
guns."
even the captain?"
None of
No,
us
but
are.
I'm the boss around here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No one's gonna deny
Right,
it.
Orville?
Good enough. I just throw a rock at your head, by the way. And yell catch.
Can I try to catch it?
I yell
Yeah.
catch. I yell catch
Roll a-
as I throw it.
Roll a dexterity check. Just D20 plus
I
your
do
dex.
yell catch.
Surprise.
He does yell
Surprise.
catch.
I
so
do
this
yell
will not be a
catch
high
as I
DC.
throw it.
Oh, well, that's cool because it was a nat 1. 7?
Okay. A slightly glowing rock hits you in the head.
So the rock is thrown. He says catch, and it kind of you're looking at the just banana just foaming out the corners of his mouth,
Poor guy.
and you feel this. It's very lightly thrown. It's not like he was baseball
No.
pitching it. It plops off, and you're able to catch it before it hits the ground.
I just threw you one of the sending stones at you. Don't try and take the others. You can have that one.
Describe to me what you're wearing right now.
What I'm wearing?
Yes.
Whatever is in the picture on Discord, which I'm not. I uploaded it. I'm not too good at describing things. Do you have Discord on there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll flip it around.
So to describe it as best, he's wearing shin-high boots
Yeah, exactly.
with black leathers and a black undercoat, with the cuffs with the pins, having his family name on
Ah,
it.
I see.
He is wearing what you would consider a fairly formal naval attire,
With a big ass gun on the back.
with a big ass gun on the back.
Pretty.
What were the 2 sending stones to again?
Um,
What were the exact
One
names?
was to Jerome Carton, and what was the other one?
I'm dead.
Okay, well.
You are dead, but I do not remember.
It was the
DM
one.
to player.
It was to the 2 guys. The guy who had his feet up. And,
Okay, so one was to Kenneth, one was to Jerome.
And Kenneth had his feet up, correct?
Yes, Kenneth had his feet up.
Kenneth is the one. He said, "Get with me if things go wrong at this here at this
Yeah.
point." But the other one was in general, don't get in contact this until you've succeeded.
Yeah, until you've gotten the item and are heading to the coast, and we will set up extract.
I
Yeah.
threw you the one to Ken.
So, the guy who you kept
Yes,
leaning in on.
the guy you kept leaning in on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do anything. However, I would like to note that when Orville goes to find a bunk for the evening, I'm going to make note of that bunk, and I'm going to make edits to the bunk
Okay.
Or additions.
or additions. Yeah.
Okay. So, as that said, not but a moment later, the wood elf man who you saw kind of Thalen go up and speak to is coming down the deck and kind of looks to you, Orville, and says, "Orville Scarton, yes.
Yes.
Would you come speak with us for a moment?
Sure.
You're welcome as well. Any of your crew you're able to gather. I don't know.
Who's
where
all
they-
on the
So Winton is off in the corner talking with his guys.
Bjorn was yelling at people to go down.
Bjorn is down, currently getting the oars poked out.
Basically, where are you?
I
just
was
having a
Are you
drinking.
processing currently?
I am done after I'm done with my drink. Since it, would you consider it a poison?
I mean,
Alcohol.
you're not necessarily immune to the effects of alcohol, but they're not necessarily
It's not
potent
that.
to you.
It's that I can after my turn I can get rid of poisons.
Yeah, you're able to clear alcohol.
Okay. Then at that point, since I was planning on getting rid of it, since it was for a fallen soldier, I'm now willing and able to be part
Where
of the
were you
conversation.
Yeah,
drinking?
where were you? That's what
Probably walked over to the.
I would have
So
been
were you
at
on the deck, or did you go up to like
highest point of the sails.
highest point
Oh.
of the sails? Okay, so you sneakily grabbed a bottle from where Bjorn was sitting, As he's going out yelling, he missed a bottle. You grab it, immediately uncork it, start drinking it. Is there a particular type of alcohol you're looking for?
Nope,
Just something heavy. All right, so you
any-
grab it and immediately start climbing to the top of the ship.
Like,
As you get up there, you see someone already beat you to it. As you climb up and get settled, you look across, and there is a young boy there. He looks to be human, couldn't be more than 10 to 12 years old. And you kind of spook him as he gets up, and he says, "Hi."
Hello, how are you?
Kind of freaked out.
Makes sense.
I'm Jack.
Damn.
Sean, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, Sean. What you up here for?
Processing feelings with this, and then I'm gonna go back to actually having to do something. What are you doing up here, young lad?
I've got a good set of eyes on me, so I'm just kind of looking out, seeing if there's anything following us. There's nothing this far. I mean, I kind of just joined along with everyone else. I don't even know how many people down there know that I'm here. Probably
Well,
very few.
Here's what I'll let you do. Since I'm not really planning on sleeping at all, and if I do, it's gonna be up here. You can have the place that I was supposed to have. So they won't question why you're in a bunk. And I'll take care of being the sail eyes up here during nighttime. How about that?
He says, alright, well, I'll stick up here until you get back, at least. I'm used to being up here. I'm usually a deck cleaner on some of the ships they were making, but I always like coming up to the top.
Oh, fair point. Alright, well, I'll let you to it. And I down all of it, toss it, and then just, because I'm athletic, I'm gonna just fall, but try to catch myself.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Athletic check.
You only have 18 health.
So
This could go
athletics or
great.
acrobatics, you are about 30 feet up. As
You're
that's
a
where
monk.
the top mass
You have
is.
I was gonna
You have
say,
slow fall.
I have slow fall.
You won't take any damage. So you drop the bottle. Are you attempting to grab the bottle on the way down, or you just?
Oh, that's a toss. It's
Okay.
I finished it all in one go.
Okay.
And
So as you toss it off to
You
the side
probably
and
hit
jump off,
potassium.
how do you land? Do you try and do any kind of special landing, or do you just land on your 2 feet?
I kind of. Yeah, I kind of just like do like a combat roll to mitigate any type of actual damage that would have happened.
Okay.
So because it's slow fall, so I can still take damage. So I'm trying to, if I do take any.
You won't take any damage.
Yeah.
There's a certain.
So
amount of
I kind of do a slight combat roll, still a little fumbly because it hasn't fully worn out of my system just yet.
Okay.
And then I'm like, all right.
So you drop and you do a combat roll. As you look up and look around, you see all of the powder puppies off to the side, and you see Thalen and Orville standing by them, and you see the bottle drop right on one of the dwarves' heads and just shatter. And he looks up and is very confused as what just happened. But the rest are acting like it's a normal occurrence.
Yep. And then I look over, see that. All right, I might as well do something. I got nothing else to do.
I'm
and
guessing it's right as I'm looking for you, I just see you flop onto the.
Yeah. You just see a shadow phage combat roll onto the deck.
Oh, there's one.
Oh, all right. I
Come
guess
on.
I'm with you.
All right. Well, if it's just the three of you, that is all right. We can at least begin planning. And he'll take you guys up to the back of the ship where the rest are. And Alaris kind of greets you and says, I'm just wanting to make sure I know everyone's names. I did get a dossier. Sean Simons, correct. Orville Scartan of the Redenbacks and Thalen Rifkin. I'm assuming it was Namara Stormborn who was turned to ash on the docks.
Yes, thank God. Oh, did I say that?
And Winton is down there speaking with other rangers from Fex. And I heard Bjorn yelling, so I'm assuming he's getting the oars set up. We sent Gentar to help him with that. We have made plans, and we are going to try to take as much time off of this trip as possible. With this assault on the Cannon Fire shipping post, we believe, and you are welcome to put your insight into this, that the shortest path is the best path at this point. We may encounter more resistance, but also we intend on sailing very close to the Rift of Bones. Many ships avoid passing nearby, so we may be able to skirt by most of the Zemnian patrols closer to the coastline. The Concords call is a heavily enhanced ship. She kind of points down to the ground, and you guys note for the first time that the ground is almost a little sticky. She says, covered in a water glycol, it is heavily resistant to any flame, and there are a few particular reasons why I will brief you on that tomorrow, as I believe we do not necessarily need that information right now. Heavily resistant to fire, it is able to catch speeds with large sails and oars, along with some magical enhancements. It may not be as quick as Namara's Laundering Last, or as quiet as Thalen's Whisper, but it is a good mix of the pair for a galleon. We will hopefully be able to make the trip in 6 days. That is the goal. If weather permits, possibly 5.
How long have you been captain of this ship?
This ship has only been in the Cartanian fleet for 2.5 months, so I have not been captain for this ship more than a week, as it was heavily damaged when it was brought into Cinderhorn. But it was repaired, repurposed, and renamed. It used to be known as the Aether Expeditatum, a Zemnian expeditionary galleon. It is now a galleon of war. However, if you must know, I have been captains of some vessels in the Batashi district for over 2 decades.
Well, wonderful. Glad to know we are in good hands then.
This is a very strange mission. As captain, I am used to making the decisions on my own. However, I have been told to include you on any decisions being made. So, you will know approximately everything I know, which, as I said, we will speak with some of the particulars of the mission tomorrow, as I'm assuming you did not get the final brief, since Joram intended on giving that to you tomorrow morning. Do you have any questions for me?
I personally don't.
Where do we sleep?
Yeah.
There are plenty of hammocks on the second deck. None are necessarily claimed. There are cots as well. There is a third and fourth deck. However, I would ask that you not go down there yet. We need to organize some things and get things set up. I know that just makes you want to go down there more, Thin. I have read your file. If you must know, it is filled with gunpowder.
I know some people who would very much so enjoy getting to the gunpowder, and I'm going to look back at the powder puppies.
I'd like to think one of them's on fire.
It is quite possible at this point. Glass shatters, one of them took out a little lighter and just set one of the other's hair on fire. That will be an interesting group to wrangle. Hopefully they are good at their jobs, though. Regardless, that is gunpowder that is meant to be a gift.
Gift for whom?
Or they do not have what you would consider the technologies of our age. We hope to give them gunpowder to make an explosive entrance into the northern Zemnian coast. There is approximately 122 barrels below. Hence why the ship's inside, as you go below deck, is reinforced by steel and heavily fireproof. This is a very heavy vessel.
So.
Even cannonballs, if they are normal, will have a difficult time getting completely through our hull.
Nice to know we're on a well-enhanced ship.
The approximate cost to enhance this vessel ranged closer to 60,000 gold pieces. So, treat it well.
Will do.
As I said, you're welcome to take your rest whenever. We will discuss some more in the morning. Nods to you and then goes back to the wheel, and she begins whispering towards Ben too. as they seem to discuss something, and then Bentu runs down.
Would I be able to hear it?
You could if you wanted to.
I want to try.
Go ahead and roll perception.
New stat upgrade. 25.
You don't catch every word, but she says something along the lines of, go check on Bjorn and Genta, make sure they have enough hands. If not, wake up some of the last in the full deck. And Bentu runs below, and she begins focusing. As you guys are saying this, you all are almost jump scared as you hear a bell up in the crow's nest get rung twice, which you guys note as vessel nearby. As that said, you guys hear a voice yell from the crow's nest, "We got a sloop up ahead. Its lights are off. I don't know what's going on with it."
What's a sloop?
A
Small
sloop
ship.
is a small vessel.
Like one little small
Smaller
area.
than yours.
So it would be about the size. Your ship would be considered a sloop.
Can you remind me how small the ship was that we saw leaving the coast?
Leaving the coast, it was slightly larger, but it probably would still be considered about the size of a sloop,
Okay.
just a little bit bigger.
Okay.
A sloop is generally like maximum of a 5
You
to
do
10
first.
No, you
vessel.
go ahead for
Maximum.
I was gonna say, how far away is it?
As you kind of peer over the side, you don't quite have a good look to see it, but Jack kind of begins pointing towards Alaris, and the ship slows to a crawl as they tell all the oarsmen to stop rowing. And you guys just float over. By the time you see it, it's about 150 to 200 feet away.
I'm assuming my gun has some type of scope on it.
Yeah, you have
Back
some
in
type of
sky.
scope. As you
take
scope
a
in,
look
roll
at
me a
it.
perception check.
Perception check. 20. That's kind of like water. Natural 20 plus 9.
All right. So as you're scoping out, you look over the side, and this sloop, you do not recognize it, and there is no marking on the side. This is not a named vessel. This is likely some kind of shipper, fisher's ship, or something that's probably never sailed far out into open sea before. Even though it technically is capable, it's just not very good at it. However, as you peer over, let me pull up my notes. The first thing you check is up at the top by the wheel. You do see a pair of people. You do not recognize either, but you do recognize Concordian vests as they are wearing. You look down more towards the dock, more towards the deck, and you see there are some like fisher's nets and poles and stuff like that. You also see 2 dead bodies stacked up by the side that are also wearing Concordian vests.
Okay.
Huh.
They seem to have been long dead, as you can tell,
Oh.
as best you can tell. And as you're looking over, they've already spotted you guys, but you're a much, much bigger vessel, and they don't seem nervous or fidgeting at all. They're kind of just expectantly waiting for you guys to get closer.
This looks fairly like a fishing vessel, but there is 2 dead people on it. Looks like they've been dead for a while.
Sean, do you do anything? Or do you just wait for the
I
ship?
was thinking
Can
I
you
didn't
get
have enough movement to try and run over there. And
Like, sneak in the water.
I would.
Just jump
I
in the
could
water.
technically do that. But I don't want to swim.
Wait, how far is it that you said?
It's quickly closing that 200 feet distance.
Would you say with me with a dash would be able to get over there?
I mean, you technically would be able to, but do you really want to go onto a vessel on your own?
If I sneak, I would like to.
Oh, you said they were in Carton garb, correct?
They are in Carton
I
garb,
do
so they're-
inform you guys of that as
they,
well.
They are
That is
wearing
an important
Concordian
detail.
uniforms.
Okay.
That is an
then-
important detail. I do inform you of that one.
I didn't know if you would have said
Yeah.
that or not. If you,
I-
since
I
you did
forgot.
say that,
I forgot.
I put on the hood over, but I don't do anything then.
Okay.
Just
Say
in
anything
case.
you put the hood on?
Nope.
Winton and his 2 people, they draw their weapons the two guys on the side both draw heavy crossbows and are set up. The powder monkeys are all kind of getting to the cannons, seeing what kind of cannon they are.
Start
and-
prepping for target practice.
This bow is gonna be.
Demolished me.
As you guys get closer and closer, there are two people on the deck. One of whom is a very, very dark-skinned human-looking person, but the closer you realize, you see there's almost like cracks in it, as there is an Earth Genasi standing on this vessel.
Feels like bad climate.
And he is wearing heavy medium armor, half plate, a massive spiked shoulder guard on one side. You immediately recognize him.
Oh.
This is the bodyguard of William. This is like his right hand, always with him, bodyguard. You don't know him very well, but his name is Gorbachek, and currently appearing as an Earth Genasi. Heavy armor, massive halberd in hand, and he's standing beside someone who seems to be not super well, kind of poorly, guiding the ship. As Logan, would you like to introduce what your character looks like?
Oh,
Okay. You see a red tiefling. He's got, you'd say he's probably about 5'10", not real tall. Not tall, not real
6
short.
foot on dating apps.
You can tell that his clothes were once very nice, but they're pretty shabby now. You can tell that, like, they've got old, like, water stains and looks to them, and that faded look of someone who's a bit down on their luck, I guess you could say. But his hat is a brimmed hat, and it is in peak condition. And it has this large feather that kind of comes out at a jaunty angle. Is he kind of there? Is he the one attempting to steer the ship?
Yes,
Yes.
your character is the one attempting to steer the ship right now.
Okay, it is obvious that this is not one of his skill sets. It is more like it's more like he is. Everything he does is very dramatic. He is definitely a landlubber, not a sea salt. And
now seeing him, you said Gorbachek, right?
Gorbachek.
I'm making sure I got the name right. Do I have the distance to get over to that ship now?
Absolutely, you could run
I
the water and get there.
instantly jump over and do that, and I'm gonna say, Gorbachek. Oh my god. So many things have happened. William is missing.
As you say that, he kind of says, "He's not missing.
He's
He
not
is
missing.
below deck. He is currently unconscious."
You
stabilized, but do you have a potion or something? You might help him with it.
do I have any potions?
Do you have?
Do you have any
I
potions?
don't know if I have any potions.
They're green items,
I don't
so none of us ever get one.
I have holy water.
It's basically the same thing.
Gorbachek says.
Medicine shit.
Gorbachek says, "We were able to. I was able to find him, but he was already unconscious. He dipped away from his room early in the evening. I do not know why, but he snuck away without telling me. I was in a different wing, but there was an attack. Yes, I know. I did not leave much before you, I assume. We were able to find our way to the ship. Those two were already dead, but we set them beside the pillar. There are some others below. 3 Catanian privateers, along with one from the Quento family."
Okay. Good job. This is great news. I was very worried about his life.
What happened on your guys' end?
We lost one of the people for our trip, Nemora. Right now, as we are on our diplomatic mission that we have, we and obviously he's out of sorts because he thought William was dead or not going to be seen again, or if he was seen again, in bad shape. So he's completely almost caught off guard because he was thinking of the worst.
Does anyone over there actually know how to steer this thing?
What I know,
I'm not very good at riding, and I'm definitely not good at driving one of these boats. I'm afraid I'm going to ram you. It won't be intentional.
I'm assuming we're within range, pretty close to this boat now. Like,
You guys are getting fairly close. Alaris kind of pulls it to the side, and she says, "We could tow the vessel, but it won't slow us much, but it'll slow us enough. Let's just leave it behind."
Lovely. Just let go of the wheel and start walking down to the other two.
As that's said, two of the Carton people come up from below and immediately cut the rope on the anchor and let it drop. And they actually begin like prepping the ship to just burn it behind them.
I'll go grab William from under deck, carrying him up.
Placed on like a sack of different cots and stuff that have not yet actually been set up. Just a pile of shit in the corner. He's kind of been thrown on. It's the most comfortable place down here. There's no real hammock or anything set up. And so he's just sitting there, and he is unconscious. He's passed, and you note that he's like, there's a thick blob of drool coming down his chin.
Would I be able to do a medicine check to see if I could safely wake him up and not disturb anything?
I'll let you go ahead and roll a medicine check.
Come on, wisdom. Shit. 12.
12. He seems completely comatose. He's out. You don't know if it's a full coma, but he's definitely not doing good right now.
I'll kind of look at you for a moment and go, when we get him on the ship, I can do something to help, but I didn't want to use my magic in case we had to fight again.
Completely understandable. What's your name again?
The name, he smiles. My name's Danny. Danny Tompkins.
Nice to meet you, Danny.
And he was, and kind of looks at you, scratches his face. You have an aura about you. I think I might know something about you.
I mean, I'm known very well in my area, but other than that, I try to keep a low profile. And I will start walking over and grab up. We'll grab William up, try to make sure to not disturb his peace, and just start bringing him to the big ship.
I'll gather up any little items that they had with them.
I will note another thing.
Yes.
William does not seem super injured. He does have some minor cuts and scrapes, as if he was in a fight. His dagger that he always carries with him, which is pretty heavily enchanted, is not there. Its sheath is empty. And as you're looking at him, like, William, he's not a big fighter. Like, that's not his skill set. But it doesn't look like he's taken enough damage to put him in this kind of state.
Would I be able to... I think the medicine check would have been doing it. Is there a way to perceive or insight any reason?
With you having already rolled a check to try to determine his status, I would say if somebody else, if you want them to try and take a look, they could possibly make another check or roll under a different ability check. But with you having already made a roll, I'd say,
I didn't think so. I was wondering. Okay. With that, I'm just gonna bring him up to the ship. I'll probably go over to. To be honest, I would probably bring him over to. Hold on. Well, actually, I would bring him over to Danny, and when we get everyone up to the ship and everything like that, and are you able to? Is there a way to look him over on maybe certain things on why he would be in this state?
It's like, yeah, give me a moment. It's like, got a feeling that I've seen this before a time or two, but I would take a guess that he probably is poisoned or drugged of some sort. Something that would be my guess of what's going on with him. So. So
Very
I'm.
fitting that I would be whispering to myself.
Bro's just whispering to himself, completely incoherent, just deep speech talking to himself.
Basically, I'm basically doing that.
So, would you want me to roll a medicine check before I hit him with lesser restoration?
So you're welcome to roll a medicine check. You could also, in your case,
Arcana?
I will allow you to either roll Arcana or History as well.
Oh, fuck. I was proficient in Arcana.
Well, with a natural one, that's lucky 13.
Ooh, natural one that's lucky 13.
Modifier.
I do not know exactly what's caused this.
Could I
but
hit him with lesser restoration?
Okay,
You can, yeah.
I raised my hand. Okay, so
Just actively saying, I
But-
raise my
but- okay, would there have been a long? No, not okay. Before every single event that would have happened, would I have had a long rest? Meaning, I would have had heroic inspiration.
No.
Fuck.
Alright.
I don't even know what heroic inspiration does. I'm assuming that's a reroll.
That's
Yeah,
something
and,
he has
and
to
that's
give to us.
that's something I give out, even though technically the new D&D edition says you get it after a long rest.
That's whack.
I give them.
You whore. Okay,
Nah, that's
whatever.
okay.
Okay.
It's too whack.
So,
That's how I ran it for years. It's how I'm going to continue to run it.
Yeah,
So I cast
Whatever.
lesser restoration on
We're
him.
also running 5th edition, not
Yeah.
D&D 1.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I just allow you guys to use some D&D 1 shit because it's better.
Some of it makes sense.
Yeah, because he's kind
like
of
True Strike.
True Strike finally being
Yeah.
viable, air quotes.
Yeah. So I try lesser restoration on him, and then I will also go ahead and put a healing spirit on him.
Okay. So as you cast these two spells, this radiant, glowing energy fills William. He does not wink.
Didn't figure. But
His condition also does not seem to improve, other than the cuts and scrapes beginning to close on his face and arms where they were exposed.
so yeah, he gets 14 health, like it matters,
Okay.
but I blew both. That's fine. I did my part. Kind of. Well.
Might be some type of curse.
And I'm going to kind of leave the two of them where they are and kind of come wandering up on deck, look around, and just kind of see if there's anyone who needs any more healing or anything like that. If
There are
guys.
plenty of people who need
I'm
healing.
at 18.
I'm at
Both
12.
of them are still in the teens or less in HP. Thalen's not terrible, but she is not full, I don't think.
No, I'm only down like 20 points.
Yeah. She didn't really fight.
I took like
No.
one hit.
You took like one or
Fight.
2 hits, yeah.
I fought. I just didn't get hit.
Yeah.
Well, then.
Pussy.
Well, I'm going to go ahead
That's how
and
Ethan
I
greeted me
mean,
when I saw him. It's like, I go, this is Lord. I was like,
I'll go around and I can use mass healing word, burn that, give 6 people stuff. I can use cure wounds on people if I can touch them.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever is needed on the people we think needs it. I'm just trying. I'm trying to be nice and ingratiate myself to the people who picked me up off
Yeah.
the sea.
You seem, even though many people joined the ship, you seem to be the only person with big healing magic. There's a paladin, but it seems she's already used everything she had. So, as you're kind of going around healing some people, they're not hurt, but as you're going around healing, all of the powder monkeys start kind of joking to each other, and you hear some big roarous laughs happen behind you. You hear a call out, "Hey, music man, play us a song!"
I'm going to turn back and go, diddly-doo, diddly-da, and I'm going to press to digitate the gunpowder off them right next to a guy like about to light up. So he's like, "You didn't blow up."
He's gonna look at you and say, "You took the fun out of it."
It's like, "Yes, I'm nothing but a fun sucker, aren't I?" It's like, how about I wait and give you a good ditty?
Hey, yo!
Okay, shit. That doesn't mean what it used to mean.
That does not mean what it used to mean. That doesn't mean what it used to mean.
I'm gonna play you a little bit. It doesn't mean that anymore. Okay, I'm sorry. If you look it up, it was a diddly. Anyway. Oh my goodness.
Number 2.
Let's go.
That's the second
You
one.
added
Add that to the quote sheet.
She added to the list.
Can we kill this character?
And that's a different character as well. He's got 1 for 2 characters.
He's going 1 for 1. Each character, he gets one good one.
Band for band, bar for bar.
So what exactly was
Okay,
the
so
quote?
I'll give
So
you
I
a
have it
ditty
written.
later.
how about I give you a diddly
Oh,
later when I have more? That's as far as I
Before
got.
everybody started dying. How about I give you 1 ditty? I'll get you with the double ditty later.
Diddy and did.
Ditty diddle.
I mean, he lived up to his name.
Yep. So
Anyway,
they can
was
they
perfect.
kind of continue throwing a jab or two at you, but you're going around healing everyone, so they don't persist long.
Yeah, I as I'm doing that, I'm going to kind of question around. It's like, I'm not exactly sure what was going on, but did I possibly hear that Namara Stormborn died?
You see the gnome kind of hop off the cannon he was sitting on, and kind of do a little hop, skip, and a jump over towards you, and say, "I didn't see her die, but there were a lot of people here who did. At least they say they did. Turned to ash in the wind, disintegrated by a Githyanki."
Well, damn it! It's gonna make the 7th book a lot harder. And I'm gonna walk away.
He looks kind of confused. Says, "I don't know how to read, so that don't matter." And he walks back over to his cannon.
Going to pretty much, if I'm gonna burn most of my spell slots healing people, if that's fine.
That is fine.
I'll just.
You're about to take a long rest.
So there's my 2nd, there's my 3rds, there's my 4th.
You're having way too much
I'm
fun.
having way too much fun with this, I'm gonna be
This is-
honest.
Hey,
I'm
I
going to
can't
say
wait for you to
5th.
kill all the powder
Okay.
monkeys to give us some more depression.
So-
Me over here.
I'm
Gonna-
saving 3 first levels in my 5th level spell, just in case.
Next
you
time I
screw
kill
up.
someone, I'm gonna
What's-
hit y'all with the
What's your
burning egg.
Well, hell,
Yeah,
I'm at
we're
12.
I'm at 18. Yeah, we're both.
No, this lighting is nice in here. I like it.
Yeah.
This is
It's a little dark, so it will definitely make it tiring later. But later it gets, I might just pop us back with normal lighting, depending on how things are
flashbang us.
going. Flashbang.
It's good.
I'm like, where's the
Yes,
flashbang?
it's
a pretty good amount.
So, does anybody else have anything they would like to do this evening?
I kind of want to go ahead and find.
No, mine's gonna be literally do a short rest and then I'm gonna take over Jack's spot. So.
Okay. So,
I was just gonna say I kind of want to gather everyone up and hold out a few of Mara's items. Is there anyone interested in any of these? And I'm holding out specifically the mantle of the Storm Lord and the cloak of protection.
What do they do? What's
So,
this? What's
The
that?
mantle of the Storm doesn't say so.
It gives
Is
you.
the mantle of Stormlord able to be attuned by non-Stormlords? I know you're
Yes, she's not a Stormlord. It's a
Stormlord.
mantle of the. It's a +2.
Stormlord.
It lets you have a charisma of 22,
max charisma of 22, gives you a +2.
+2. So if you're a charisma-based character,
And then
Oh, amazing.
cloak of protection, very simple. +1
Unless
to-
I can have 2 cloaks.
+1 to armor class. And
Double
saving throws.
cloaked
no,
up.
you can't double cloak.
What? It's just like having 2 jackets.
and then
No,
you
it's
have the boots of flying.
Those I put on.
What is it?
You
Oh.
can put those on.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, and then there's the earwick that you put in, and
It's
it
true,
lets you hear
earwick
things.
is-
But it's an attunable item, I believe.
It is. I took the family blade and the boots.
Yeah.
Which the blade I cannot attune to.
You cannot, but the family will want.
I do.
That's worth a lot.
I do like knowing these.
And you would know that.
Yes.
You were not close, but you knew, Noara, this is something you're getting back to the family.
Most likely.
Yeah.
You would know this isn't something you're going to give to someone on the ship. This is
So I
something.
was going to keep it. For
Yeah,
myself.
you're going to keep it and next
Ransom,
time-
maybe ransom it.
Bit of a dick move, but hey.
Is the earpiece available?
It is.
Yeah.
I just added so I can read exactly what it says. It is.
I.
It doesn't acquire attunement
That makes it.
as far as it says.
That's right. Okay, good.
Put a smattering of the candy on a plate.
Blah 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 blah. You have advantage on.
Perception
Do
checks.
you have to activate it?
No, you always have perception on perception checks, but you can activate the comprehend language for an action.
So you have advantage on perception checks and make
Oh
a
my
wild
God.
hearing.
Oh,
You can tap the
no.
earwig twice to record up to 1 minute
Just
of sound.
passive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
On
a
advantage?
yeah.
Tapping it twice. So you
Oh
can
my
record voice messages for a minute by double tapping it. You can speak the earwig's command word as an action to cast the comprehend language's spell from. The spell ends if you remove the earwig. Property of the earwig cannot be used again until the next dawn.
I would be interested in the earwig just for that advantage on perception, dude.
Thank you. Oh my, real smattering.
I tried to give you a variety.
Wait.
Can I have that?
Well, you guys discussed that. I'm gonna find a pen.
Phelan, you interested?
Because I'm not charisma.
+1, one of the things is +1 to saving throws and AC. The other things is.
Is that attunable?
Oh, what?
Is that one
Yeah, is that
attunable?
one you have to
The
do?
cloak? No, not tuned.
If you don't want it, I will take that if I may.
Yeah, go ahead and take that. The cloak.
What's it?
We'll just look up earwig and it'll pull up earwig, clockwork earwig. And then
Thank you.
Mantle of the Stormlord,
What's that supposed to do?
+2
To
to
charisma.
charisma, max of 22.
It's attunable.
It is attunable.
That's the gotcha. I'm full on.
I was gonna say I don't
attunables.
think I have any attuning slots.
That is also something that you could ransom back.
I don't have any attunement slots. I'd rather use what I have.
So what happens if the blade doesn't choose you? Since it also says the blade must choose you. I'm assuming, is that affected as well, or is that only if you're able to attune to it, that property affects?
If you tried to wield it, it will kill you.
Or we'll try.
It will try to. It will try to kill you. Zach will play it, but if you try to wield it, you'll know this is it by
glad-
just touching it. If it doesn't accept you, then it's not happy. But if you try to use it, then bad things will
Yeah,
happen.
or we'll do well enough. It might work. Probably not. Probably will just murder me instantly. We'll find out. It's on. It's just on my hip. And like this little guy there. He has a sword.
So it doesn't have to. Well, it can choose you.
It can't. It could choose me. It could.
It could.
It could.
Could yes. I'm so happy.
For now, I'll just put the mantle of the Stormlord in the bag.
Okay.
I also added a sending stone in my inventory for my Seahawk ship. I'm assuming I had one. I'm assuming that's one of the things I had.
What are you intending on trying to use it this evening?
We have our course picked out, and we're gonna head towards
Cloak of
about right
protection
here.
is a tool.
It is too.
Yes.
Oh, it didn't tell
You
me.
guys will head straight west, as straight a line as you can take, until you can see the coast. Then you'll crease north around the coast to get to non-cliff-ridden land.
I'm gonna use a sending stone, try and contact. I don't know any of the names because we haven't determined any of this yet.
Yep, let me
Yeah.
pull up the notes. I have some notes,
I
right?
figured you. Roughly, I'm wanting them to have them meet up with us on an intersecting path. I don't know the specifications of our ship. From what we said, it's probably about a heavily armored sloop.
Yeah, it would be a very heavily armored sloop.
Yeah.
You know their names, but when you're using a sending stone in the Ren box or in any of the Sanguine Seahawks, you guys have names.
Yes.
We have not necessarily picked yours out, but there are 3 of your Seahawks on a vessel nearby.
It's Sam Darnold.
And their code names, as you would know them, or nicknames that you pretty much call them, you know their names, you never call them that,
Yeah.
is Kevlar, Cashmere, and Graphite
3 materials.
materials.
Fuck it, I'm Carbon, I guess.
Okay.
I'm Carbon.
That is a common naming practice.
Carbine.
Especially in the Redden box.
I'll go with Carbon then.
Carbine from the hit game. So
And the one who would have the sending stone to you would be Cashmere.
Got it. Cashmere?
Yes, Cobbin? How'd the meeting go?
Meeting went well. There was an attack by Leviathans.
Joyous. How many died?
A lot. How many would I say I saw of the actual noble families? About 4.
You saw
dead?
4 members of the noble families dead, along with, you can assume that it was not only the crew that attacked you guys that were there from the Leviathans.
4 nobles. I don't have the notes on this one. What was my uncle's name? I don't have
Your
the notes on this
uncle's
laptop.
name,
Selenius.
Selenius. Yes.
Selenius
Selenius.
was
Take your moment.
one of them.
Yeah, do I get a piece of candy for that? Is that the...
That is
the...
active.
yeah.
That is actively, and we set
You with
that.
the
We
bag
set that
now.
standard.
With the
That's
bag right
why
next
I
to
wanted
me.
it. That's why I wanted the plate, so I can
Throw 'em
any
in.
good note taking.
He doesn't give out inspiration. He gives out candy.
Hey.
I'll take what I
I
can
just
get.
have a question about short rest in a second.
Yes, it was one of them. We have 4 total, but there it was Havoc. We're currently on a ship, making our way. I would like you to try and intercept course with us, unless you guys are currently on an assignment.
He says, not currently. We are set at port in Kamaria. We were doing some trading. We found some good trinkets. Kamaria is just north of Cannon for our shipping post. Right here.
Oh, okay, there we
Kamaria is the interdimensional trading port.
go. Yeah.
So he says, we're on one of the southern ports of Kamaria. We were awaiting your word. There was a possibility of us getting assigned out into the Varian Confederacy, but we can report in that we have other orders now. Would you like us to possibly dip in to the shipping post, see what havoc was left behind?
Yes, try and see if you can find any remnants of Leviathans left behind.
All right. We'll do our best to investigate the location. It'll likely put us an extra half day behind you.
But
Do you know how long will it take you to reach the coast?
we said what, about
6 to
6
5
days?
days.
5 to 6 days.
5 days minimum.
5 days minimum. I'm not sure we'll be able to meet you at sea if we're stopping at the shipping post.
I think it's important to figure out what exactly happened.
I believe so as well, if the attack truly did occur. You said it was Leviathans.
I believe so. I saw their symbol. Written in blood and guts.
Classic.
Was it written in my uncle's guts?
No,
Not
it was
his?
written
one of the other
in.
ones.
That's not important.
Oh, Henry.
Mason.
Oh.
What was his name?
Henry.
It don't really matter if it was the
Yeah, it was Henry, wasn't it?
I remember.
It was Henry.
Mental note taking.
It's on
Can
the
I get
left.
the
Yes, you can take the Reese's.
Teacher, can I get the Reese's instead?
Please, can I have some more? Cashmere is going to say, Graphite is out at some whorehouses this evening. I expect
As usual.
we will go and find him. I actually don't know where Kevlar is. Probably at a tavern nearby. I'm the only one left at the ship right now. We'll set out this evening.
Very good.
We'll likely be able to make the shipping post by tomorrow night.
Alright.
Spend part of a day there. If there's any presence still there, which I'd be very surprised at, we'll clean it up.
Be careful, there was also Gith present.
Maybe we won't clean it up.
Be correct.
We will. We'll set the ship to stealth. We may be able to catch you. However, we may catch you on land.
That would still be fine.
We'll park the ship in a cove along the caves and try to catch up with you. Where are you heading?
We're currently heading directly to. We're heading to.
Post of.
Yeah, we were heading to like around right here, right?
So you're heading like
Yeah.
as close as you can to the cliffs without being on the cliffs. So
So
your final
roughly-
destination is Ulf.
Yeah, so roughly we're heading to the coast by the mountains near Charzal. Chazal.
Coast along the
Chorizo.
coast. It is Sharza.
Charzal.
Charizard.
Charizard.
Chorizo.
We got my favorite
Charizard.
Maruthian city, Charizard.
Charizard.
He is going to say, all right, well, hopefully we'll catch you on land. If we're behind you, we'll message you again as soon as we touch land, see what path you've taken, try to follow behind you.
Got it.
Good luck sailing.
As
It
well.
won't be in your sails. There's none of it tonight. And with that, he's going to cut the line.
And you do sending stones the technical way, where it's one use per day. You just do walkie-talkie.
I do walkie-talkie to a point. Like, if you're on it for an extended period of time, it probably won't function after a while.
Yeah.
But a conversation or two a day is easily enough.
Okay, so
What was
how
the thing-
does
what was the thing
short
It's
rest
a
healing
healing
work? I've never done it before.
I keep wondering, why are my knees getting higher? I was getting lower. It just keeps going down.
Oh,
slow.
it's sinking?
It sinks slowly over the course of time by me moving on it.
How does short rest healing work? Is it
So you, as a level 12 monk, you have 12d8 hit die that you use. So when you take a short rest, you can use, I believe, up to half your hit die. And you regain half your hit die when you take a long rest. So you could use 6d8 plus your constitution to heal right now after a short rest.
Okay. And then technically in the short rest it says I can't do anything strenuous. Am I able to still do perception while doing a short rest?
A short
on the
rest.
sails?
A short rest is literally just I'm sitting, I'm chilling,
Okay, so
looking
that
around,
makes,
eating,
that's
drinking.
perfect. Not eating or drinking, but specifically still doing my thing, but letting my body recover after the absolute fucking beating I took. So 1d8 plus 2. And then I can do 6 of that?
You can do 6 of that. So it would be 1d8 plus 2 6 times,
Okay.
effectively. So
You get a lot
6d8
back.
plus 12.
You get a lot back on short rest as Blood Hunter. I didn't realize you got a lot back.
Blood hunters are heavily short rest dependent.
Yeah.
Hunters.
I'm a
Them warlocks fighters.
See,
If you're ever running a
also
short rest dungeon.
Key points. I need those badly.
I'm doing a 3 hit dice, by the way.
Okay.
I'm doing.
Are you taking a short rest or a long rest? It is late in the evening.
I can rely on.
I guess that's
doing
true.
short
It is
rest.
late. No,
Like, we're looking, it's probably 3 a.m. Maybe later.
I'm taking a long rest.
So you go below deck. There's a set the oars along the side of the ship, and then in the back, this is a very large ship. In the back, there's like a whole bunch of blocked off areas where it's not really sound dampened at all. So you're definitely gonna fall asleep to the sound of people grunting as they row.
Oh,
But you're gonna be in a hammock down there or in one of the few cots.
Yeah.
That's,
23.
So,
plus-
I'm going to kind of be looking around on the ship, even though things are dark, and I'm going to see this big hat on this elven gal, and I am going to mark that and come up and take my nice hat off and do the bow and go, "Madam, I must say, you have a lovely hat," and
Well, thank you.
and it's like, and I know from personal experience that someone who has such a magically beautiful hat must know what's going on around here. And so he goes, "So I have come to you. I am Danny Tompkins, famous writer, bard, and conductor, and somehow I have found myself on this ship at this time, and frankly, I don't know what's really going on. I was the guest of the Katarn and Batek families, but violence came and it was prudent to leave. And so I'm a bit confused and curious. Are we headed back to dock, or are we headed elsewhere?
Elsewhere would be a good way to put it. We're headed to Ulf, to the Zemnian coast, actually.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely indeed. Lovely.
Quite. Quite.
Right. May I, please, as a gesture of gratitude, may I? And he'll do basically prestidigitation, and like, your hat is a bit damp. May I repair it?
Oh, please. This poor thing.
So as I'm gonna just sit there, and as he kind
Also-
of tries to get information about what's going on.
Can I also note, are you attempting to be deceptive? Are you intentionally being deceptive by saying the Zemnian coast? Because that is a deceit.
Yes.
Okay. What's your passive insight?
Oh, you're a bard. You gotta be decent.
It's that's yeah. I was just like, so I am going.
What is your deception?
I'm not 2
Plus 2. You can tell she's definitely withholding information, if
You can
not.
try to roll for
It's
that.
a secret. It's a secret mission.
It is, no, it is a secret
It's-
mission.
and I'm just some homebody that you guys picked up.
Now, you could roll if you wanted to, which would spark a roll
I mean,
from him.
You could
Um,
also
however,
try to
you can
insight
just-
me.
You can just glow past it, and he'll just. There
Do
might
with
be
it what
something
he will.
fishy. There might be something fishy, but insight might prompt him to.
I did say we were going to Ulf, though.
You did say you were going to Ulf. I did
think
not
I
hear
did.
you said go to Ulf.
I might be wrong.
So as
Recording.
I thought
Chat.
I was
Chat.
recording. Chat, let me know.
Jamie,
Yeah.
hold the rewind.
So as he prestidigitates,
Ah.
as he's talking with you, the hat is looking pristine. Like this is it's better than it has ever looked.
What wonderful magic you have, sir.
I do also, if you want any modifications to the look, the brim, the hat brim.
Could I have a
would you-
feather like yours? I love the addition.
Why not? And so he'll go like this for a moment, and then as he pulls his hand away, there's a feather in his mouth now, and he'll take it and he'll put it in the hat, and then he will magic prestidigitate and manipulate it into a big like ostrich style feather to fit the size of the hat. And he'll spin around. There you go. And as he hands it off to you. I guess he's not Irish. And
Went all the way
so,
Thalen. by the
Thalen,
way. Nice to meet you.
good to
Denny.
meet you. Danny Tompkins. I must ask, how familiar are you with the families, like the specifically the Batek or the Cartan families? Like,
Do you mean Batashu?
yeah, but
Okay. Okay.
That makes
I'm-
even
I'm
more
just
sense
curious,
for his
'cause
character.
I know
to do
Logan messes up the names
Yeah.
of the families a lot. I was wondering if it's Danny messing up the names.
That'd be so funny.
so okay, so there's a reason he's using.
Tell me you're for it.
Um,
Tell me you're for it.
So, okay. Realistically. Okay.
How do you want to handle this?
How do you want to do this?
Roll for autism.
I got a natural 20.
I don't know of the Tech family, but I assume
Oh.
you're meaning
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes,
the Batashus.
it's old hat. So I write books, and maybe you've read some of them. The Broken Winds of Fate series. They're very popular, and to keep on the good side of certain families and individuals, I kind of changed the names, and so that might be the reason I was their guest. But anyway, they weren't fans of my books.
A guest?
Yes, I was a guest.
Can we?
Can I decide whether he was actually a
Please,
guest
someone
or not?
roll his ass,
Okay.
bro.
Firstly, yes, you can insight. Secondly, is Thalen the type to read romance?
She's the type to maybe read a chapter or two and then just get bored of
Okay.
sitting still.
Just
She
looking
would,
you would
she
have no
absolutely
instinct.
would steal the book, read a chapter, and then dump it somewhere because
If only there were
Would she pay
audiobooks.
attention to authors, or I wouldn't think so.
no, not really.
So
If
you do
only
not
there
know
were
the
audiobooks.
name off the top of your
She
head.
would be
so-
No.
interested in listening.
Well,
In your wig, you could do audiobooks. Just you can only record 1 minute of it at a time.
Okay, okay.
And someone would have to be waiting.
My insight is
I'm
another
so excited to see what
another
the
31.
Holy shit!
Okay.
I got plus 13, so anything
Oh,
high
that's
is pretty
beautiful.
good.
He was definitely not an honored guest.
Yeah, that's good.
He was a guest.
He did.
Not an honored guest. There you
He
go.
was a guest. You never clicked.
You look around and You note that he is like wearing a long
He's
sleeve
pretty-
covering his wrists and ankles. You don't know
And
if
his
there's
clothes
any
are
kind
pretty
of
worn,
sores
but
on
we're
there,
not.
but-
How long were you an esteemed guest of the family you were with?
That's kind of hard to say. So I go places for inspiration, and I had headed over to I can't pronounce
The
it.
Cannon Fire Shipping Cruise?
The
Camaria?
Camaria.
Okay.
I had traveled to Camaria for inspiration. I'm working on the 7th book. I needed a name, and were kind enough to greet me and insist that I come and have some hospitality. And you know how hospitality is. You really don't know how long you've had hospitality if it's good hospitality, if you know what I mean. Yes, so the reason
Can I tell if he's just like stressed or if he's just kind of like maybe a little crazy?
Oh, he's a little crazy. He's also a little nervous.
So I'm, to be honest, I need to make a good impression with them. So that's why I about ran myself dry on healing. But do you believe there's some way I could be of use to maybe repay their generosity? And so that I could go on my merry way when they're done?
Remind me of the family who we're talking about again?
The bigwigs.
Just like anybody?
The Batashu.
The guys that run your family.
Well,
Yeah.
Um,
Kurtak and Batash.
Gartrons and Batashus.
Yeah. I pissed them both off.
well, here's what I can tell you about the families. There's not really much pleasing them for long. You know, I mean, you can hang around if you like. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. So, we're on this mission. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
It's quite dangerous, if I'm honest. So, honestly, even just tagging along and, healing every now and then would be quite a... I don't believe we have a resident healer, so it would be wonderful to have you join us and just heal and record how the mission goes as a final report. That would be wonderful. You're a writer.
As he does this, he comes out and comes back, and he now has like a book in his hand and a quill for writing. He's like, I can take all kinds of notes.
Wonderful. You
I'm
may be
very
the
good.
resident note taker.
And as he does this again, it disappears as he comes back. Yes. Well, then, shall I? So I shall be joining you and your merry band on this expedition to do something that will make the families pleased.
Yes.
It's a deal.
Wonderful. We'll find you a copy.
Because awesome, and thank you, and just by chance, if you are interested, it says, I know it's a hard crowd, but you might get a kick out of these books. They are very popular, especially on the mainland. So here is the first one, and as he does this, he's going to. You probably noticed this time that he has this ring on his finger, and he brings a book out from the ring.
Oh.
And he hands you. You may add this to your inventory. Passion in the Broken Winds of Fate.
Passion.
Book 1
I really
of the
hope
Broken
you
Winds
That's
of Fate.
way too
I
big.
really
of a
hope you
title,
wrote
bro.
full-blown books or something.
No, he had ChatGPT do it for
Well,
him.
that's good enough.
Passion in the Broken Winds.
It's
of Fate, I see.
it's
Yeah,
it's
just
2,000
yeah,
pages
it's book
long.
1.
George R.R. Martin is creaming his pants
So
in more ways than one.
By the end of the campaign, he's gonna
Sorry.
have like 6 published books just sitting on the table.
So-
in front of us.
why don't you read us
reveal it.
why don't you read us the cover?
Okay, so the cover description is a striking and dramatic image. At the center, Gamora Gusborn stands defiantly on the deck of a storm-ravaged ship, her hair whipping violently in the wind. Her eyes burn with determination, a wild, untamable energy emanating from her every movement. Lightning strikes in the dark sky above, casting sharp, stark shadows that illuminate her fierce gaze and the worn, battle-hardened expression she wears. In the background, the chaotic dark waters churn as the massive kraken's tentacle rises ominously from the depths, its shadow looming over her as she prepares for the next fight.
It's just
The ship's sails are torn, and the storm's fury mirrors her own internal struggle. The title is elegantly embossed in silver with the words "The Broken Winds of Fate" beneath it, written in a swirling, tempestuous font. Does she fall for the Kraken or something? Is that like the whole...
Are you writing smut?
It's a doge.
So if you
There's an excerpt. There's an excerpt. As
there
part
is
of the frickin'...
there is a summary.
100%.
There's a synopsis.
Not a
There's
doubt.
a review of the book from
And then there's straight
fictional
up an
people who are
excerpt
real
from
people.
chapter 4.
We're definitely familiar with this person's work.
Yes, this is the person
we know.
who was writing smut
Yes.
about.
That's why I was like, oh fuck, that's so
The
good.
second you said, if you, depending how you were with Nomara, you might not like this
I was
person,
gonna
I'm like,
say,
yeah.
I was in the
So,
middle of writing
I
my
was-
The
seventh
excerpt
book
is so
with her.
good!
Wait, is there a picture? Do you
There's
have-
an excerpt! No.
So I would
Yeah,
ask.
picture of it.
I have 6 books that I've created. Please don't read ahead until you get them.
You got it. I'm not going to look at them until you give them out or until we find one.
Bro,
So,
You're out of your death's last, he drawled, stepping closer. His boots steady despite the ship's lurch. Run back to your cabin or the storm will
Damn,
be the
bro's
only
going to
thing
make
that
me read
claims you.
somehow.
What the fuck, Logan?
Like I said, I spent way too much time on the joke.
He had
I love
3
this.
weeks. 2.5 of those were writing the book.
I couldn't even.
Here's my character. Homeboy,
Bro,
right
it's so good! He's been.
I'm dead.
I worked on
Oh
it for
my
a while.
god.
I spent too
Gamora
much.
took him in her mouth.
Okay. So
That was the end result.
now remember, book 1, she's still a virgin. It's the beginning arc. You have to read the synopsis.
Oh.
So anyway, there is a synopsis.
Chat,
Chat,
should I kick him?
chat, we're cutting this out of the
Is he the
VOD.
imposter?
Chat, we're cutting this out of the VOD.
So
I'm gonna
there-
see the Kraken and be interested, and I'll take it and I'll read it.
so to be blunt, this is smart,
Oh, really?
and this is the first
Who'da
one.
thought?
Perfect.
It builds from here.
Oh, no.
It probably takes about
So-
50 pages before the first sex scene, and it's not the main character. It's a second POV.
Cracking on cracking.
Well, I mean, Kraken's is one of the special forces. Then there's things.
That's
But-
hilarious.
So anyway,
Beautiful, I love it.
yeah. So
With my 33 perception, would I be able to hear this conversation?
On the main deck? Honestly? Facts. Yes.
but
Especially
you
now
just-
that
you
I
just-
have the.
you just hear me
earworm.
hand you the
ear
book,
thing.
and you don't know you won't know the details of the book.
great-
You just know she was handed a book.
If you're interested in more, but
Oh man.
So, with your
Glasses.
33, I am going to say you do not see anything in particular.
Okay.
In the far
I
distance,
feel
you
good
do
about
still
it.
see
That's great.
much of the island on
I
fire.
feel good now.
In fact, you do see seemingly more and more fires
That's
as
great.
it does not dim the farther you get away until you get really far away. The whole island was laid waste to. At least that is what it appears.
Do I notice anything sus with crew members? Anything like out of the ordinary that I would have?
The most out of the ordinary crew members, I'll go ahead and point out to you.
Oh shit!
So out of the somewhat 50 people that are on this vessel, I obviously did not write names for all of them. Nor will I come up with names for all of them.
Take notes.
No.
Take notes.
So
Text.
the
My hit list begins.
so obviously you have Gentar and Bentu. You do note that there is
And who is Gentar and Bentu?
Gentar is effectively the boarding party lead
Him,
for
okay.
the Concords call, the
And
bugbear.
Bentu is the.
Bentu is the first
The
mate.
first mate,
of
Wood Elf.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. They're
Um,
so.
two of the more intriguing members are the ones who are kind of huddled around Winston, talking quietly to each other, that you've learned to be called Kent and Heath. Also members of the crew of the Devil's Demise, monster hunters just like Winton.
Well, the devil. What was it? What was it?
The ship is the Devil's Demise, which
Devil's-
was Winton's vessel that he flew in on or sailed in on.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Along with William, there were 4 members of the Concordian Navy who were on the vessel, 3 of whom wearing Carton garb. Their names being Garius Kethel, Nyar Rial,
Here's Kethel. What was the
Nyar Rial, and Jefferson Lyrie.
Jefferson Davis?
Jefferson Lyrie. And the last of whom was a Quento, wearing Quento garb, whose name is Vasil. Vasil, should I say, with an I. But he does not seem to be super active in talking with anybody, so you don't hear much from above. You
alright.
just note that the others called him Vasil.
Okay. Alright, I think I got that. But for once, my scribbles on my notebook that I have isn't actually indiscernible deep speech, but deep speech of everything that I would have written down there in all of its quality.
It's not
Okay.
accurate, but I tried to do good covers
So,
last night.
In specifically
They
in
just
deep
went to
speech
smut.
quality.
I was
Yeah,
like, okay,
specifically
what's a
in
clean
deep
one?
You do not require much else in terms of information.
Okay.
There's a lot of people on this ship. I just listed out about 10 names of those on this ship. You already knew 10 names, like you got the powder puppies,
Yeah.
the powder monkey, which was 8 names alone, plus the
lot of
captain and some
names.
others. A lot of names.
I wasn't known for
I've got
getting
candy
notes.
here for anybody who remembers all of them.
I have
shit.
a hit.
Not all of them.
No, not right now, but
You will give it to the computer next week.
note down, dude. If ChatGPT can actually just single out names, just every name I say, with the minor description of where they came from, that'd be dope.
That's what I'm trying.
I would hope to God.
So, with that, Orville, long rest.
Yes.
Thalen, long rest.
I was making custom.
After
guns.
I
Read some of the book.
I'll read a little bit of the book, but I also want to wait until he's asleep. I'm gonna stay up until he's asleep, and I would like to. Are you sleeping on a cot or in a hammock?
Caught.
A cot.
Wonderful. I would like to fray the cot around the
Oh, you
outline
mother-
of him,
Okay, so as
so
you
that
go
it
down,
slowly starts.
this
to,
is a public room. This is not his own private room. So as you go in,
Would I notice this as well? What this perception?
I do
he-
have a
she waits
great.
for you to go to sleep.
That's fair.
I have
She's
sleight
got
of hand
stealth.
and stealth.
And
That's
she's got
very
very
high.
good stealth.
And I
So-
know I'm not seeing you.
As you kind of go down, just across the way, you see the comatose man that they pulled from the sloop, along with what appears to be an Earth Genasi who's sitting in a chair leaned up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
As you kind of walk over to Orville's cot and kind of begin messing with it, you hear a
I'm gonna be. Shh, I'm busy.
let him have his rest. It has been a long night for all of us.
Who's this again? I turn around and I'll look.
There is an Earth Genasi. You see a halberd kind of set aside, but considering the fact that there's so many pillars, it'd pretty much be impossible to wield here. But you do know he has a short sword at his hip.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, Earth Genasi, he's wearing some pretty heavy and nasty looking half plate armor. And he's leaned up next to the man that you saw Sean seemingly very worried about earlier.
Okay. Looks like I think I do what I do is my business.
I think
It's
what
a harmless
you do
prank.
in the public spaces is anyone's business. We only have so many cots here. Destroying one cot means someone has to be set aside to repairing it, or that means we have one less bed for 50 crew. Think logistically. I know it's probably hard for you.
Mm-hmm.
Attaboy.
Attaboy. He's holding up what I would do.
I'm more than happy to repair the cot later.
If you're willing to about yourself.
I am.
I'll make sure it happens, though.
Absolutely. Good day.
Her ass is not
Have a
real.
lovely night.
And you see him just lean his head back. And as he closes his eyes, it's almost as if he does not have eyes. As his earth mossy eyelids almost like turn his face solid.
Is he just standing there?
No, he's sitting in a chair.
Oh.
And he's just...
Then you hear behind you, because I rolled a 26 on stealth. What are we doing?
We're doing a prank. Can we find a bowl of water?
Ah!
Lovely. Alright.
You just have a bowl of water in your ring?
I have a bowl. And I have
I mean,
water.
he is an entertainer.
So I pull out the bottle and I just fill it
Also,
up
do
with
you have
water.
the stone still on you, on your person?
On directly visible on my
Yes,
person?
because I would have been paying attention too.
It wouldn't be visible on my person.
It
no.
wouldn't be visible, but is it on your person?
Technically, it's in a bag of holding. Would you know that? Not sure.
He kept one stone on him, one stone in the bag of holding. He threw the stone that was on him to you.
Yes. And my bag of holding is like multiple pouches. You wouldn't know.
I don't
which
have a
one.
stone.
When I said
Yeah,
I
he-
threw
Remember when
stone
you
in
threw a
it,
rock at your head?
Uh-huh.
I
You
said
got
that
it?
was the-
that was the sending stone
and I
to
told
Kenneth
you.
Batasha.
Yeah, I told you I threw you one to Kenneth.
Oh, I totally missed that. I just thought it was just
You
straight up
even
a rock.
recognized it. You said, "Oh,
It was just
you,
a-
you acknowledged
I thought it was just
Oh,
straight up a
why
rock.
you throw this
No.
fucking
A
stone
glowing,
at
you're
me?
like, he hit you with a glowing rock. I'm after him.
Yeah. I'm not
No,
gonna,
he
you know.
gave you what you wanted.
No, I gave you the sending
Okay,
stone.
well, never mind. I guess I don't need that then.
I'll take the bowl. of
I
water.
do want the bowl of water though, yes.
So-
And I'm gonna like gently set it on your lap and then put your hand
Do I have to roll a Constitution saving throw?
in your sleep.
This wouldn't be a con.
Well, this is to
saving
see if I
throw.
piss myself.
And then I would like to get away.
How about this? I'll make
After
a
that-
wisdom save.
Wisdom
That
save?
that sounds about right.
Okay.
It won't be.
Once we place the bowl,
I'll
okay,
move
that's
my
right.
stuff up.
Go.
So I also have boots of elfenkind. So I have no
So he
sound.
makes no sound when he's.
I piss myself.
He rolled a nat
Oh,
one.
fuck.
Fucking dripping.
So,
And
as
also,
you imagine-
and also, your cot is like if you move. To,
Unless
like,
you think I would notice my
basically
hand
at all.
getting put in water.
I'm.
That's.
No.
Yeah.
I'm imagining that
You're tired.
you were on your stomach and you kind of had both your arms almost
Yeah.
tucked under but one off to the side, and they kind of pull this off and set it in the bowl very calmly.
I just think someone spilled beer on my hand.
Ew. You kind of move a little bit to the side, not able to hear these slight sounds of terror every time you move, and then you just start to wet yourself. Gorbachek actively just hears a soft groan as you release a pint and a half of piss just dripping onto the deck.
The paparazzi would have a field day.
Rolling a piss check.
Paparazzi, roll me a piss check. No.
4.
In
I
about
pissed 4 gallons.
in about 2 hours, you are deep into your rest, and you finally kind of graze your face a little bit as you've kind of been woken by what seems to be a large yell from Bjorn as some of the rowers started to slack off, and you see your hands wet, and as you kind of look at it, you immediately just fall through your cot, slamming into the deck. Do you even care, is the question.
Care?
Because you do note there is a large wet spot around your groin.
Who pissed my pants?
Who pissed my pants? Orville stands up. Who pissed my underpants?
It's more or less just a.
Your pillow is still there.
I just put my head back on my pillow and say, fuck this.
Falling back asleep now on the bottom of the deck,
I
under the cot.
Just take my pants off, go back to bed.
Take the pants off, put them off to the side. Just like, hey, the Scartons are well endowed. Time to show it.
Show you some blood magic.
Oh my god.
So,
That's actually
Oh,
wild. That's crazy.
Mother of God.
so later that night, I will come back and I will prestidigitate and fix the bed above him and fix his pants.
It's just sitting underneath it.
You know what they did? They did fix it. You know.
Yeah, I was like,
You come back in, mend.
I use mending,
Mending.
prestidigitation,
Yeah.
mending,
fill up the cot.
And then I look at his
prestidigitate
pants.
his pants.
Yeah, or
Do you like fold them and set him to set him beside him?
I'm trying to make good impressions, so yes.
So you're helping.
They are pristine. And
He's helping
then
me
I
do the
will,
prank and then fixing the prank
Freezer.
later.
He is the whole 9 yards.
yeah, I'm doing everything. If it's a cantrip, I'm just
When I wake up, is there a little mint next to my head on
what is a rare fruit in this
A
world
rare fruit.
that is very far away from
So similar. Well, very far away from here.
rare for here?
Rare for here. Okay.
It's a red apple.
let me actually pull up my world map real quick. Let me just do some mental math of could this fruit get here before it got spoiled.
Remember my ring?
That is true.
I have a bunch of fruit in my ring.
Bro's got a ring
So
for-
Imported fruit.
the rarest fruit you have would be what are called Tilg figs from the
Okay.
city of Tilg in Kandura.
There is a tilled fig sitting. Your pants are properly formed, sitting there, and there is also a signed copy of
hell yeah.
Volume 1 of
Broken Winds of Fate.
The Broken Winds of Fate.
I'm assuming this is an item I can add?
Yes,
Yes.
Broken Winds of Fate.
I'm so excited for us to read it out of session and get invested. in
Oh,
the
I'm
book.
listening to this as an audiobook at work tomorrow.
Okay, it's just
That's
it's
It's an
just
excerpt, right?
it's just the cover,
It's all that
a
matters.
synopsis, a funny review by
All
someone
that
who's
matters.
fictional, who's actually I just took people's names, so I did reviews for people who actually wouldn't review the book, like
Okay.
members of the family.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
And then I gave them false titles or things, and then there's a snippet from a chapter. I didn't go any deeper on them.
For now.
For
Okay, so
now.
how did you get the snippet? Like, did you just have chat created, or like?
I worked on I ended up working with Grom actually because I didn't want ChatGPT to flag anything.
It's like, you're writing smut.
So I went over to Grom with no censors and was like, okay, put it in information. I'd already had synopsises and other things and been working on it.
That's great.
So I was like, this is
Gamora Gustborn?
Yep.
it's said on tomorrow. Gamora Gustborn.
Alright, so
Anyway.
long rest. Frank's done.
Long rest.
Everyone go ahead and hit a long rest. You're a short rest. Yeah, you'll probably not sleep until tomorrow.
Because I don't.
Yeah.
I should be.
So, as you guys wake in the morning, we're gonna get a little bit brighter. Not too much, not that much brighter.
Sunny up that yet.
It's dawn. It is past dawn. The sun is rising on the horizon, and you guys are all on the top deck. Kind of gathering everyone together, Alaris is going to have gathered you along with Bentu and Gentar.
How is our young, knocked out sorcerer?
He actually almost completely forgot about Cade. That's a good point.
Cade.
Absolutely would have been a part of some of the discussions. Alaris does not know why Cade is here. She does not know of him. She knows more about the mission, but not him.
Okay.
You guys seem to be the only ones who know. However, he has. I will honestly say, for simplicity's sake, that he probably went to bed pretty dang
Yeah,
early.
or we didn't. We just stabilized him and put him to bed.
Yeah. Probably a stabilized and
Yeah, because I don't see the guy letting him do it. He put him down as soon as
Yeah.
he was done.
Yeah.
So he just woke up and was like, I'm not dead.
Well, Cade was conscious for the end of the combat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was brought up. 'cause
The only
he-
one that wasn't conscious would have been.
You and me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was conscious, but he was out really soon after it. So he is up, and he is also a part of the meeting. So, does anybody have anything they want to do in the morning before this meeting?
I will try to ingratiate myself with the angelic captain.
Okay.
And I will offer her a steeping hot meat pie for breakfast.
Okay. No ditty.
And I can, if she is in the mood, I can serenade her with my violin, guitar, or other instruments that I have.
Alaris does not care for music.
So I say, but she would like a warm meat pie.
But warm food is always accepted on the sea, as it is not seen. So, I will say, Danny will not be a part of this meeting unless you guys insist.
He wouldn't need to be.
Well,
I would be opposed to it.
You would be opposed to me being part of the meeting? Or-
Danny, yes.
It's because Alaris goes to find Winton, Bjorn, Orville, or she sends Ben to find the 5 of you plus Cade, as he is under a different name in her dossier as who will be joining you guys.
What is his name in the dossier?
His name in the dossier.
Because I would be saying it like that.
Well,
We wouldn't know
You
the dossier.
wouldn't know of the what the name of the dossier is, as Thalen did not get that deep into all of her notes.
No, I didn't.
I'll go hang out with William if
Come
I
on.
can. Like, as soon as she's like, well, if you need to, I need to have a meeting to leave, so I'd head down to check on William
Okay.
and stay down there until I call.
And so you go down, and as you're going down, everybody else goes down to the 3rd level, which has been left mostly, if not completely, empty of people. As she takes you guys down, there's almost like a little office/meeting room near the back of the ship that is also still full of gunpowder. As you guys get down, Orville, this would be your wet dream, along with the wet dream of all of the powder people upstairs.
He has those wet dreams pretty often.
I mean, apparently.
Yeah, the piss dreams we had.
There are easily
We'll be having more of
155-gallon barrel drums of gunpowder.
Well, you know what that means.
Alaris is going to close and lock the latch behind you guys. As she kind of takes you guys towards the back of the vessel, and she says, there are some pieces of information that were given to you that were not given to me, and some pieces of information that were given to me and not given to you. Oh,
No way.
I know, such a terrifying thought. Mission integrity and all that. Particularly, all of this is a gift to Gortham Zembe. It was something his representative said he was interested in. He has some plans for these explosives, but had no way of acquiring it himself. So, he asked us for a bit of a gift. Along with that, there is the other crew, the other 4 representatives who had a meeting after you, left long before you did. They took a sloop and left early in the evening. They have missions of their own. They will be ahead of us and likely be leaving some things behind for you. I do not believe they are going to Maruth first, but it is very likely you will find them in Zem when you arrive there, if we are able to get you to arrive there. As she looks out towards the barrels, she says, I do not particularly have a grand way of getting all of these barrels to them. Hopefully, they will have carts since they are the ones who requested them. Likely what will occur is, since we will not be arriving at the docks of Imaruthian City, as they do not have any docks, you will likely go out, and the first small village you are able to come across, of which there are many, the Maruthian people only have 4 cities that are on what you could consider maps. It is unknown where most of the villages are. Some of the first villages you arrive in, if you can get notes to send wagons back for these, that would be preferred. Perhaps if you have a way to transport one of these, either on the back of Bjorn or some other way, just to prove we have brought them with us. As you will likely be arriving well before Alaris. However, that brings me to one last thing. She kind of walks over to the side of the office, and there seems to be a hatch to a 4th level. Probably a very, very small one, and probably one that is not very comfortable to be in. But she raises it, and you see her snap her fingers, and some light appear down below. And she looks down and says, Flynn, it's time to introduce yourself. And as she backs up, a moment later, you see a set of willowy, gray-skinned arms, almost with a purple tinge, come up and pull herself up out of the bottom deck as you guys see a drow woman standing in front of you. You see her clothed in what you could only consider to be tribal, like leathers and sashes across her body. By no means what you could consider armor, just something to cover her. There are feathers and pelts strapped to her body. You see she has a staff with this like green crystal that kind of pulses with what you would consider almost necrotic energy beside her. And most importantly, upon her head sits a almost what you would consider like a tiara of sorts, but it is made of wood and twisted vine that kind of rises up into these 5 hooked points back behind her, seemingly made of some Meruthian tree. As she kind of comes up out of it and straightens her back and seemingly casts some kind of spell on herself. I must say, Alaris, keeping me under the gunpowder was an interesting decision. I can barely breathe down there. Alaris is going to say, my sincerest apologies. However, it is best that no one else know that you are here.
Yes, in fact, why are you here?
This was the Meruthian representative sent by Gortham. Flynn is going to take a deep, deep bow, and as she kind of rises back, you see almost the wood from the ship kind of make a seat from itself behind her as she sits beside the wall, leaning back. She's going to say, well, I don't really have much to say other than my name is Flynn. I am the Zembane's wife, shaman, ethical compass, one could say. I will be leading you to Oath once we arrive along the coast. What? Have you never seen a drow before?
Can't say so, no. And I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised that Zembane would have sent his wife to be the emissary and died. But not up to me, I suppose. Pleasure to meet you, Flynn.
It is a pleasure to meet you as well. I would know your names.
I give a slight awkward bow, now knowing that it's kind of royalty I'm dealing with.
Yeah, it's an awkward mix, but technically would be.
I give like a small like bow-ish type of thing. I don't really know how to do full courtesy. I'm not meant for that. That's not how I am. It's like it will be a pleasure to work with you, and yeah.
And your name?
Oh yeah, Sean. Sorry about that.
I already know your name. Fourthborn of the Scatan family. Memory serves.
Would be correct.
Our people knows you as well. You slaughter us by the thousands with ease.
I mean, the ease pod makes sense.
Yes. She kind of, Bjorn and Winton both introduce themselves as she kind of turns her eyes towards Dalen.
I'm Bjorn. I'm Bjorn. I'm Bjorn.
You just want to go
Shakes
ahead and
it.
roll. Just go ahead and
Shakes
roll an
it.
intimidation check. You know he would. Just serve him proud.
That's actually really fucking
I rolled a
high.
19.
serve him
I
boy
actually
proud.
rolled a 19.
It's canon.
We gotta make our boy proud.
After that very awkward exchange, she kind of says,
Thalen Rivkin.
We are opposite sides of the same coin, you and I. You from the stars and me from beneath the earth. I believe we will have an interesting partnership thing.
I'm looking forward to it.
Alaris,
I always love making new friends.
Alaris looks at her, looks at you, and says, "There will be no cajoling in the bowels of my ship."
Oh.
Flynn says, "I was just leaving options open." And Alaris cuts her off and says, "There's
They come.
no need for that. We are likely a 5-day journey from now. to the
Exactly,
coast.
lots of time to fill.
There are other things you could be doing. Like
Yes,
training,
yes,
working
yes.
things out.
Oh, I have a cot to fix. Now that I think about it.
That was already fixed.
But I don't know that.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
I
No,
know.
it was just him that went back.
Alaris is also going to say, I also have an interesting piece of information that I will share to these ears only. There was a vessel that docked in the western port about 3 hours before the attack.
Which one of us saw
Did
that?
it depart shortly?
Which one of us saw that? Was it Bjorn?
I don't think
No,
anyone
someone
saw.
pointed-
No, you guys
Someone I thought
all of you
noticed.
saw the ship a little bit farther down.
Okay,
that
that's
port.
what it was.
All of you guys saw it. And she says it was bearing Concordian flags, and it was approaching from the south. I reported it. However, I got word back that Mason Carabor from the Wearmount Watchpoint said it was a ship noticed and expected by his family.
What's the name?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Mason Carabor, the Wearmount Watchpost, which none of you guys are from. None of the party is from that island.
From what again?
Wearmount
Wearmount.
Watchpoint.
Watchpoint. I will show it to you guys on the map real quick. It is in the Carton district. It is this guy right here.
Hey, I spelled it actually.
And you guys will note that their champion or representative who was sent on the mission would have left, as she said, well before you guys did, well before the attack. She is going to say, he even came to the docks to speak with them. Now, none of the people we fought were from this ship. I did not recognize them. But I hate to put suspicion on such a great house, but it is certainly suspicious. I do not know if you guys have any information about any of the other houses or any other suspicious things you saw before the assault, but
I saw a small ship departing, but
you likely saw the other 4 leaving on their mission. That would be my guess. If it was from the same port where the Concords call was docked, there were no other vessels leaving that evening. At least none that I saw. She says,
the Zephyr is what it was called.
yeah, the Zephyr. She says, yes, I remember the Zephyr leaving, I believe it was then. The most interesting thing about those who came on that vessel from the south, they were light of skin. Now, I've lived in Kandahar the vast majority of my life, but very few Concordians I've ever met were not thickly tanned. Which is why I brought such a ruckus up about it, but then Mason Carabor shut it down.
Okay, so, can we do a quick review on the Carapor family? Or, like, what we know on them?
Sure. Let me pull this up real quick.
Do you want us to do rolls or?
I was gonna say, I can roll
I
for it
will. I'll
too.
say go ahead and roll.
All of us?
I say all of us do it.
Yeah.
And history, most likely.
I will say history, yeah.
History.
But that's not good.
And I'm assuming it's not a Fae, Fiend, or Undead family.
Nope.
Fuck! Natural 20. Plus 2.
Fuck! Natural 20.
You got caught, but it was worth it.
It's 23, but I'm not technically supposed to be.
No, this one's the
That-
no, because that one's not gonna happen again. 15.
So I got
16.
I got natural
13.
20 for a 22.
Okay.
I got a 16.
So, what is the highest?
I think technically your highest was
But
25.
he's not there.
But you're not there.
Yeah, then mine.
I'm not
so
supposed to.
22.
Oh, 22.
Not
Natural
The
supposed
22
to
is
be.
still very good. They're in your district. They're not very
Does the
far
natural
away.
20 help it?
Yes, it will. A little bit.
Two.
So I will give. It's not maximum information, but I'll give you guys a lot of information. So the Weremont Watchpoint is here, not very far from where you guys were. Right here.
So yeah,
W-
they could've-
W-A-E-R.
Weremont Watchpoint.
Oh,
So, the Weremont family obviously works closely with that of the Cartons, who rule in Sindahar. Why the flip?
Oh. September spending.
That was from like 2 years
I
ago.
like how it pulls up every single time you click the wrong button.
Well, yeah, because it's the next.
Oh,
Picture to the
got
right.
it. Delete it then.
I'm seriously considering it at this point.
You should put some funny ones like memes. So if it
Gosh.
happens wrong, then you give us.
So,
Give us something.
the Weremont Watchpoint are technically the family that was hosting you guys,
Yeah.
as they controlled the Watchpoint, the Cartint forward operating post, and the Cannon Fire shipping port. Those are their fiefs. The Karabor family were not the original family that established this dynasty. They were actually more the stewards to the Weremont family. That was until the Civil War, in which the Weremont family was completely erased. Everybody died in the Weremont family. Some under suspicious means, but there was a lot of noble deaths under suspicious means during the Civil War, especially on the Concordian side. I'm talking multiple families, including one of the three primary families that controlled the island that used to be Yalra, but is now Kamaria, along with some of, including the Weremont area actually, and some of the northern sections, specifically the Tesvareth Trading Center North. That family was completely wiped out, and that was one of the big three. So there was a lot of family lines that ended in this Civil War. A lot of big name bloodlines.
Just take it.
The Weremonts were one of them. In that case, the Karabor family, keeping the name of the Watchpoint and the other islands,
How's that spelled?
C-A-R-B-O-R,
Oh, so just okay.
or C-A-R-A.
Yeah.
B-O-R, Karabor. They, as stewards, took over and did so with the acceptance of the Carton family. No one was against it, effectively. They were the stewards. It was expected that they would be taking over. They, what the heck is going on with this music?
I was gonna say this music.
The Watchpoint was one of the only locations truly devastated by the Civil War. The Skarton stronghold was able to hold its own, even though it's the closest to the Zemnian coast. But of the two navies that were sent out from the Zemnian coast, one from Pentakel, I'll actually pull out for this.
Oh.
In the Civil War, it was known that there were two major naval groups that went out. One included the ports Pentakel and Nicodranus sent out.
From
That-
the Zemnian coast.
Yes, that is the armada that forms the Rift of Bones. The other armada was formed from all the ports south of Pentakel, but predominantly Davenport and Regeron. These two, making up a much smaller armada, but still a formidable one, went north of the Daring Straits and came up upon Skarton. When they were unable to siege Skarton, most of the Concordian forces were still fighting at the Rift of Bones, effectively doing the best they could, take out the larger armada, come back and salvage what's left. A lot of these southern islands, I'm gonna get pissed off.
Piss off spending.
Were raided, but they did not have as much infrastructure to mess with. So while burned, pillaged, raped, it was ugly. But the Weremont Watchpoint, that was
fuck.
wild. The
No,
Weremont, with the Weremont Watchpoint was the biggest devastation. The Karabor family, at their seat of power, effectively inherited a ruin, along with 40,000 deaths, mostly by bombardment. And then they walked in and pillaged, raped, destroyed what was left. That is what was left of the Watchpoint when the Karabors inherited it. They have built it back up from that ruined position, and they've rebuilt it better. They intend it to stay that way. They're focusing on economic futures. The Weremont family used to be a family that rivaled the Skartans in terms of like military operations, but have now become a far more economic and trade-centered family, almost trying to take a book from the Batashu page from the Batashu's books while being in the Kartan district. They've established many new shipping lanes, particularly to the Caladrian and Gwendalian empires. And you note particularly the Gwendalian focuses that they've had, which is the entire continent away. Like, that is about a 2 to 3 month journey by ship to get to the Gwendalian coast. But with their new shipping lines that go from the Gwendalian Empire down south around Kandura to multiple Caladrian ports, particularly Sargoth on its eastern section, and then rounding back out, skipping the Zemnian coast to come in between the Daring Straits and the Oceanic Pit to come up into the side. As they, if it's Concordian vessels, they don't want to be too close to the Zemnian coast. That is a pretty detailed rundown of the Karabor family. New to power, having had to rebuild the location. They were not people, they did not lose people to the Civil War. They were stewards, they were on the island of the Watchpoint, but they fled before the full assault came. There was an evacuation, as many people as they could get out outside of military forces, which the Concord, I will note particularly, is pretty heavily populated. Considering its size, it still has a very, very high population count. So, with that, saying that 40,000 deaths occurred means that maybe probably more like 20 to 30% were left behind. Meaning most still got out and fled to Sindahar, which is much better defended. But that's a basic rundown of the Karabor family. You don't necessarily have a reason to believe why they would be traitors, or would knowingly accept Leviathans as their guests. And it was pointed out that the people you fought, at least, were not the people from that vessel. So maybe it's some other kind of underhanded trick or economic trade thing. You don't know. But the Spartans and Karabors don't really get along a whole bunch. They're very, very different operating procedures. So you may not have the highest opinion of them, but you do know them well, as they are geologically, they are near you.
That's a lot of info.
That is a lot of info. Who took notes?
I tried and
I tried. Can you remind me what area besides just the Watchpoint they
So they have the Watchpoint,
Point,
the island that just got destroyed, the Cannon Fire Shipping Post, along with the Gartant Forward Operating Post, which is northeast of the Watchpoint.
Yeah. So we got the Watchpoint, We got the Cannon Fire Shipping Post.
I'm just gonna rewatch and do notes. That's
And then the
Gartent Forward Operating Post.
Gartent.
Cannon Fire and Gartent are very, very small.
What does the Gartent do? What happens over there?
The Gartent, Forward Operating Port, is effectively a location for ships to park at overnight. Like, effectively consider it one of the central truck stops of the Northern Cartons section. As it would be about a day away from anywhere important, if not 2 days. So if you're in Sindahar and you're going to Kamaria, you're going to go to the operating post, and that's where you spend your night. And then you do another day's travel to get to Kamaria. If you're at the farmlands and you're going to Sindahar, you could go straight there if you're lucky enough to be on the south side and going to the north. Or if you're on the north side going to the south, you're going to go to Gartent, you're going to chill there for a day, you're going to go to Weremont, you're going to chill for a day, you're going to go to the Sindahar look ahead, and then you're going to come around to the south. So it's effectively a truck stop.
Okay, so
And
when
there is
was
heavily taxed there. So they make a lot of money off of it.
okay, so when did our meeting end? Learning our whole plan that we had to do. What time frame was that ending at?
Probably
I don't think-
mid-afternoon
Mid-afternoon. Okay. and
is
then-
when your guys' meeting ends.
Okay, and then how many hours after? How many hours is it to travel from Weremont to Cannon Fire? Or if I don't know if I said that right or not.
So from here to here,
Yeah. Yes.
that's about a day.
day. Okay.
It's about
say,
a day between any of these islands here.
Let's say if it's a fast ship,
If it's a really fast ship, maybe 8 hours.
8 hours. And then how many hours before the attack did they get there?
The vessel that
Or,
arrived, Laris saw?
Yes.
Okay, that arrived mid-evening. So that would have
She
probably
said
been
like 3 hours before the attack. I thought that's
Yeah.
what she
Okay,
said.
so it would have been a little bit later. It would have been close. It would have been after dusk.
So it would
have been like
even if
8
with
or
their
9.
fastest ship, it wouldn't have it would get there exactly knowing the information, so it's a little bit iffy.
Message. You can always.
I mean, that's true. You can always message.
Anyway.
And note, it was said that the ship that arrived was coming from the south, which means it would have been coming from this angle. Or at least, if it was coming from the watch point, they would have had to very specifically go around the south side of the island,
Taking
and-
extra time.
taking extra time, because it would make more sense for them to go to the southeastern port that's here, rather than the northwestern port that's, over here.
Well,
where
if
you
it
guys
is
were.
by message, they could have just done that. No, okay. I'm just thinking out loud. That's all I had for questions.
Okay. So, with that information, is there any last questions, any last discussions you guys would like to have?
I get have we discussed what our leaving plans? Like, as everything goes according to, if everything went according to plan, we get the pieces that we need or whatever.
Oh, getting out?
Yeah.
Getting out is his rock to Jerome, where the Concords call will be dropping you guys off. They likely, Alaris hasn't informed you on this, but you would assume that they probably have some kind of orders for after that or something. You'd expect. You could ask her, whether she'll tell you or not is another story. But you would expect they have something going on afterwards, and then as soon as you guys have the key, which is what the Zemnians have, it would be we have the key, looking for extract. Where do you want us to go? Because at that point, 99% chance the siege will have already begun. As in 21 days, now 20, you guys are expected to make it to the coast, to Ulf, convince them to attack. It kind of seems like they're already convinced. Kind of just seems like they're waiting for the go-ahead. Surpass, or go around the actual assault on these two garrisons, make our way into Zem. They think it's in Zem. It might not be. If it's not, Zem is definitely, it's the capital. It's the place where you would probably be able to find, assassinate, interrogate, find some information on where this is. The military center is Penico. It's possible you'll get to Zem, and they'll say, it's in Penico. And then you gotta go there. And then you gotta deal with the fact that it's under siege as well. You don't know.
Got it.
But the extract is, get the stone, then call.
So you think you can get us there in 5 days, 4 days now?
Someone roll me a d10.
Me. Since everyone was so jumping at the bit to do it. Alright, we're gonna do it above board. 4.
The weather is clean, and there currently is a wind coming from the east. So the wind is at your guys' backs. So Alaris is going to say, unless we run into something coming from ahead of us, I doubt anything is going to see us. Certainly nothing from the shipping post that they sailed in is going to be able to catch us with the wind at our backs. At this pace, I'm hoping that by the end of tomorrow we will reach the Rift of Bones, which puts us about a day to a day and a half from where we're looking at dropping you off.
Beautiful.
We've only been out for a little bit, but skies are clear and wind's at our back. It's luck is on our side, fate, whatever you believe in.
I
It's
want to
with
be
us for now.
constantly on vigilance, making sure nothing sketchy is going on the ship.
Okay.
When we're traveling.
All right. Well, I believe that's all the information I have to give you. I believe we are both as informed as we can be, outside of probably whatever information they gave you. But with that, I expect you to help with the riggings and help us get there as quickly as I can. We already have multiple shifts of people setting up on the oars. We do not need them right now, but they will help us go just that slight bit faster. Hopefully, it will be uneventful.
Where's the fun in that?
The fun is getting the mission done in a timely manner and as expected. The fun is what you get to have when you're off duty.
Nah, that's where you and I disagree. Miss Lightweaver. I'm gonna go leave and try to find some work.
All right.
Can I run and roll another Arcana on William?
Sure. Well,
Since it's a new day.
you can roll Arcana or History.
Was Cade part of the meeting? Did he say?
Cade was part of the meeting.
What is
Did you
his
make any
name?
Okay. As introduced to you, you have not been introduced to him yet.
Right, but for their benefit.
For their benefit, Alaris spoke of him. Actually, this is actually something pretty important. Would you guys have thrown the name Cade around of, hey, Cade, come to this meeting?
No.
No?
I would say, hey, kid.
Yeah,
Kid.
probably.
Okay.
Something to
She regards him as Sentius.
So then, in that case, I'm gonna be like, hey, Mr. Sentius, why don't you come with me? We'll find some work. And then I'd like to, if he'll come with, can I get
He
him?
kind of looks at you awkwardly. All right, Mrs. Mustache, what do you want from me?
Are we away from people?
He says that publicly. Like, what do you want from me? As he's kind of like following you.
Just to see how you're doing. Make sure you have all the hair on your chest that you need and all that good jazz. I don't know, I'm just saying shit. I want to get him away.
He's following you off to the side, but he's wary.
So, what's with the fancy nickname?
You know who I am. Jiran Kartan knows who I am. That is about all that matters until we find your family.
Just making sure we're all on the same page.
If everyone here knew who I actually was,
Oh, I'm not saying they needed to know who you actually were. But who are they assuming you are?
Cyntius Thalmor.
And who's that?
Cyntius is a bright and aspiring sorceress lad south who came from one of the cults in the Daring Straits, rescued by Cartanian members long ago. I'm supposedly a ward of the Cartan family. That was supposed to be fully briefed to you now, back at the shipping post.
Yes, I would hope so.
But things did not necessarily go as expected, and I honestly kind of forgot about it.
That could have been unfortunate for your identity, sir.
Yes, it would have been. But I remembered this morning when I woke. It seems inhaling nearly 2 gallons of water while unconscious is not healthy for one's mental capacity.
You'll get used to it.
I certainly hope not. Is that all you needed from me?
Yes.
Alright. Well, I shall go learn how to row an oar, apparently.
Oh, you're on rowing duty. Have fun, dear.
I volunteered, I will have you know.
Isn't he like a twig? Isn't he like a skinny little thing?
He's skinny.
Well, it'll definitely put some, you'll get some, what do they call that? Muscle definition.
Yes, and hopefully you'll be able to find a razor.
Try not to throw up, dearie.
He's just gonna keep
Good
playing on
luck.
Namara's one joke. he's very charismatic, but he's not very quick on his feet like Namara was. Yeah, no, he's single digits in strength.
31 Arcana.
31 Arcana.
All the 31s today.
Very
Let's go.
different story.
Yes.
I would like you to roll me a history check alongside of that Arcana check, with it being so high.
That would be a 23.
23. So I will actually wait for Jack to get back,
Okay.
because this is
Important.
very tied to his character.
Oh, nice.
Well, William's his guy.
So as I'm kind of sitting there, I'm just as they've gone down, and I've been sitting here, kind of just looking at him, watching. I've taken out just a small little mandolin, and I've just kind of been plucking away on it. As I've kind of been watching him, trying diagnostic spells, different little things to try to get an idea of what's going on. So
Okay, I heard my name. Something's important.
So this is important to your character, as he has rolled a 31 Arcana for William,
Okay.
and a 20
and a 23 is history. As you're looking at him, still unconscious, not yet woken, Gorbachek beside him is eyeing you carefully, but you're the healer, so he's kind of just making sure nothing untoward is occurring.
Fig?
Where is this from?
I got it from a trading post about halfway around the world from here. Because where was that?
Tog was the name.
It was in Kandura.
I didn't get it from Kandura. I got
You probably got it in the Caladrian Empire.
Yeah.
Or along the Zemnian coast.
Do you want a different chair?
No, I'll be okay. It's just every hour I gotta bring it back up.
Yeah. These aren't very high quality, but
It has
Okay.
performance issues.
it does. Hey,
But
it's
it'll
getting
rise
old.
to the occasion.
Yes, it will.
Every hour.
Every hour, once per day. Every morning when you wake up. So, as you're looking at him, this reminds you weren't around in terms of like a public way near the Githyanki War by any means.
No.
But, you've been around, you've heard stories, a lot of stories. As you're kind of looking at him, you're kind of like casting a spell, taking in the arcane essence from what's like irradiating from him. And you note there's some heavy like enchantment magic coming from him. as you're kind of going that, you open up, pop a book out from your ring, and you kind of look through it. And as you're looking through, you get to a portion that specifically talks about the Battle of Nirn. And Nirn was the biggest battle of the Githyanki War.
Okay.
Yeah. Joke. I get the joke.
Why you gotta make it nerd? You fucking nerd.
You're saying that much better. X that's not much better. It is better. Regardless.
Nern.
In Nirn, which you note was like one of the northern Avarian military centers and was the first place that was attacked. There was an assault sent ahead of infiltrators and people to like weaken the defenses before the Githyanki came. And when they did, one of the big things they did to large enemy targets of the Githyanki was to feeble-mind them, which effectively wipes them to the intellect level of a pet. Incapable of sentient thought, statistically and technically, what that means is his intelligence, his wisdom, and his charisma is reduced to 1. He is unable to talk or communicate in any way. The only thing he can really do is recognize friend from foe, and he can't really do much. He probably couldn't even manage to swing a dagger. Effectively void of all personhood one could have. And as you're kind of reading through this, reading through the description of what happened to a few different Avarian heroes in Nirn, you kind of look at him and everything matches. You know it would have to be some powerful healing magic
Well,
to wipe this from him.
I'm gonna look to his guard, Gorbek. Gorbacek. Well, Gorbacek, I believe you've got your work cut out for you. I believe they feeble-minded him. I don't have the means or the method to heal him. This is far beyond an average healer or even a lot of the good ones. This would need a specialist or someone of great power to restore him back to his state. He is, however, in good health. He is just... a cat has more free will and intelligence than he does right now.
Well, I guess I'll need to buy a lead.
Yes, but he won't complain of food.
Alright, well,
Add that to books.
do you believe there is any possibility someone in Maruth would be able to heal him? Any chance at all?
I bet one of their shamans, maybe one of the druid healers, would possibly be able to do it. We might also be able to get in contact with... I don't know what means there are, but I know that if worst comes to worst, we could always cross some borders and bring someone unwilling and make them willing.
That would not be preferable, since we seem to be
Definitely
trying to ally with them.
It might not be something that can be fixed until we go back to the islands, or if we made a detour. It's like So, where she told me we were going where?
We're going
Yes, but she told me we were going.
there. She said
No,
the-
she said someplace else.
She said Ulf.
Ulf.
Didn't
Yeah,
she technically did say Ulf, which is down here in Maruth.
Ulf. Okay.
She said we're going to the Zemnian coast, and then said a Maruthian city.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Good job.
Throw him off.
yeah. So I will go. He goes, I don't know how we could get the Zerefian to do it, but people often do things for money. He goes, 'cause I'm unsure. Like I said, this is beyond my expertise, and somehow I'm the most knowledgeable healer on this boat, and that's not a normal thing for me. I goes, but he's in no real danger. This is not something that, if he's taken care of, there's not, to my knowledge,
Any danger of death.
not if we feed him and water him and take care of his personal needs.
Would you mind if I borrowed that book?
Oh, no, by all means. In fact, I'm going to turn down a couple, I'm going to reach in and pull out a couple bookmarks and put them in the right chapters and hand them to him and go,
I will read up, see if there is any other information, any other possible ways to heal. Generally with spells like this, the one who was casted on is able to make some form of secondary chance.
he shrugs and goes, it's not necessarily my area of expertise. As I said, the mental aspects are much, much different than my specialty. I'm sorry.
That is all right.
But I'm gonna give him a meat pie, a fresh hot meat pie. It says, I don't know, a little good food might. And I'll hand him another one. It says, a little good food might do wonders for you and for him.
All right. I have not tried to wake him yet today.
And then I will hand him silverware.
Where is this coming? Don't answer that question. Thank you, Daniel.
Oh. You're welcome. If I can be of service to the family, then let me know.
I will.
Oh, water out there. After going out there.
I have a second water bottle here, I thought.
He got junkied. She got two.
Yeah, it's alright, but
I drink this one then. So
I know what it actually is.
So
I know what happened.
now you guys are down below, and so I'm having this conversation
I know,
probably
I
about
know.
the time you're coming up, or while they were doing
Yeah.
theirs.
it's a people.
Yeah, I know how many days that takes.
Yeah.
Son
I
of
think
a
your
bitch.
character's probably actually seen it in battle before.
Probably. So, with him, would I know how many days it takes then?
You know.
Arcana check? I have a +5 with
There's-
proficiency.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
Yes, you do. But the chance of someone who was fuel-minded surviving to the second point where they saved and not having been healed for it is very low.
But I know what type of healing is required.
You would know it is extensive. A greater restoration is the most common that you
Great
see.
restoration. Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
Yeah, and I can't get it at my level.
Okay,
You can, because it's
I,
5th levels.
It's
so
not.
it's
It's not. They didn't list it as an option.
but it's not an option for
Because I wanted to grab greater restoration. I have. It should be a list though, because I have access to the bard list.
The next time you have the expanded lore list, you should be able to pick it up.
Because I wanted it at 5th level, because at level 10, that's where I get the expanded list, but it didn't list it as an option.
You should have been able to get it at that point, but it's kind of too late now.
Damn it. Damn it.
Like I said,
Son of a bitch.
because I got lesser restoration because they didn't give me greater as an option. But I just figured, I forgot that I could get it with.
I really thought with your roll, it was you rolling if you're going to do greater restoration.
No,
that's
no,
why, that's why I was like, I wish I was there to do an insight check.
Did you? Oh, you probably did New Bard. I don't know how New Bard does things. So
I think it's just glitched. I
I
did.
was gonna say, I look at magical secrets whenever you reach a Bard level, including this level of prepared number of spells in your Bard.
Bard,
feature
cleric, druid, or wizard spell, and it didn't give it an option. I wanted it, but it didn't show
Alright.
up.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's
Yeah,
just.
why isn't the choice here in your edit screen?
I don't know. That was my frustration. So I just figured I could only find lesser at level 2.
Yeah. I
Weird.
mean, I don't know why it does that.
Just go to 5th level. Because it starts with a G. Just type it in.
So did you pick any spells off of the 10th level magical secrets?
No. It wouldn't let me. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, here it is. It shows up if I do it in this screen. It won't show up on my character page, and that was where my issue was. Because I can see it now. I can't grab it without dropping a spell. Dang it.
Huh.
Because it was my intention. I just couldn't find it. When I was on my character sheet, it didn't show up, so it doesn't show me the list.
Alright. Either way. So, as we close this out, or I'm going to close this conversation out, I'm going to say, you guys finish your meeting. I'm going to Plin ducks down below into the 4th deck again. It smells like shit down there, is one thing I will note to you guys. However, as the meeting ends, what would you 3 like to do?
I mean, I had already kind of walked away with Kate a
Yeah,
little bit,
you
so
did some of
I'm ready to go find some work.
Oh, following.
Dang it.
Dipping.
There's Dominate Person. It wasn't on the list on the other screen either.
I'd like to be away, but still listening in on what everyone's doing, because I know they're going away, he's following them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need to be part of the conversation, I just be able to hear the conversation.
Which conversation?
Whatever's about to
Conversation.
happen with those 3.
Okay, well, she went off with Cade, just the 2 of them.
Yeah.
I know.
Chatted with him for like 2 seconds, and then they're going to find work.
Okay, sorry, I thought there was going to be a conversation. Oh, okay. Realistically, I know what I'm going to be best at, and that's going to be perception, baby. So I'm just going to go back to my crow's nest, probably hang out with Jack, unless he's not.
Jack's there.
Then I'll just hang out with Jack and just do observation stuff.
Alright.
Do I need to actually do observation?
I'll have you just roll an active perception check. I'll roll one for Jack as well. I would assume that you guys probably don't talk a whole bunch.
No.
Jack's not a super talkative guy, and neither are you.
That's a 26. God, I love that.
He rolled an 18. So you guys keep a pretty dang good eye out. Yes, Thalen.
Did we know we were gonna have an emissary with us?
No.
That's kind of what I thought.
You were actively told
It was
that emissary had already come and gone.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. And considering it's his wife, that's kind of something I would like to talk to people about.
telepathic bond.
Yeah, I'm
Because
trying to.
because Alaris didn't include Gentar or Bentu in that conversation. It was just her and your guys' party.
Who would have been able to? Wouldn't anybody have been able to see from where we were, or was this
Well,
in
you
a?
guys were
private
in a
area?
back office in the 3rd section, which
I guess
is
you're
where all the
figuring-
gunpowder is, so it's kind of locked away.
Okay.
So yeah, it would just be those guys.
So we're
I did want to introduce myself as you came up through the ship.
Yeah.
And because I'm kind of sitting there, and as you come up, I'm going to say I didn't get a proper chance to thank you for helping us out yesterday. I am Danny Tompkins, and I will kind of give you a little bow and say, and I just wanted to thank you so much for your assistance in saving us. For I will be very blunt, we didn't have Snowball's chance in any of the hells of making it to shore in one piece with me on the ship. So thank you.
No problem. I'm glad to. Well, I mean, you brought the most important cargo with you in that below deck, so as a thanks, the very bare minimum is that you were able to come on board. So.
I don't know if you heard, but I was able to, through some books, figure out kind of what is going on with poor Mr. Williams.
You did?
Yes, and I'm going to gesture over to the book. It's like I was going through some old books, and I believe this is something that Githyanki would do. It's like it makes them infirm, like as smart as a cat or dumber than a dog.
With just that, would I be able to know what it is?
And
Yeah.
Feeble mind.
Yes, I think that's.
I've seen it happen many times.
Yes, unfortunately, it is beyond my measure. There's nothing I can do to help. But to my knowledge, as long as we keep them fed and healthy, that there shouldn't be any permanent damage. But I'm not an expert on this field. But I thought I would let you know, since he seemed to be important to you.
Well, I know what can cure it, but we need someone with some serious arcane ability. I mean, if you don't have it, I don't know if anyone else would. So, right now, Gorbachev probably got him in the best condition he can be, and I trust that you'll keep watch with him as well, since he's effectively your patient. So I trust in your ability to take care of him, and if I notice the slightest turn, I will make sure it's swiftly done. And I just instantly start going to my scarecrow pointer.
Are you by chance, I'm assuming, part of, I'm going to mispronounce your name, Thalen's crew or group?
I am...
The elf?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right, Thalen's crew.
Because
There's not exactly a name decided nor a leader decided, as it is a group.
Yes, there is.
It is a group effort.
Oh, well, I was going to just say that she had hired me to assist in healing with you on whatever operation you're on, and I was just wanted to let you know that I would be part of the team. But if she's not running the show, then maybe may I offer my services as Healy? I need to repay some debts and get for some beautiful and wonderful hospitality I was shown by the Patex
Instant insight check. Because
Cortana.
I can tell shady characters just from my streets
Yes,
alone.
the Batek and Cortana families, my favorite.
Insight check. I mean, yeah. I've rolled in, shady crowds before, dealt with them effectively. Oh, that's only a 19.
That's an out one, so
Ah!
Holy!
Opposite sides of the spectrum.
that's a 10.
What is his real goal here?
He doesn't want to get whacked for escaping. He wants to repay them in a way so they'll let him live.
Escaping.
He was their guest, and there was an attack, and he took an opportunity to leave while people were dying. And now that he can't get away, he's like, I didn't want to stay their guest in the dungeon anymore.
Yeah. Can I get that that's the synopsis of what he's going through?
I don't think you'd get that deep in it. I think you'd be like, this guy was definitely a prisoner. This guy definitely got out during the attack.
Okay.
And
I will walk up to him. I will go right next to him, whispering, "How about you let me know what you did to get imprisoned, and we'll see if it fits the crime."
They did not appreciate my literature. And I go, I'm a writer. I used to be an orchestra conductor, but after the Githyanki War and everything that went on with that, there was just, long story short, I needed a new avenue. So I had to travel. So I came to these exotic islands, and I found a muse, someone who inspired me to write. But I changed all the names. So
You're just getting it.
No. I'm like, Oh my gosh, who's Gamora supposed to be?
Gamora Gustborn.
Are you kidding?
Oh.
They got it like 2 hours
Yeah, we
ago.
Oh, okay.
Did you
Got
just
it.
get it?
Damn.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I thought that was just like a coincidence. I didn't
Yeah,
think that was like the
no.
actual like.
His actual muse, yeah.
Okay.
So
No,
I
it's
will,
like- it's
so
like
I will
it's-
hand you. I was like, so I wrote a very successful series about the exports of Gamora Gustborn, and I will hand you the book.
Oh my gosh. we all
Would I know
one
the
now.
type of content of the book?
Okay,
Would I know?
this book is these books. This
This
is
is fairly popular. You're your book kind of guy. Are you like the kind of guy who ever visits a library
No.
or goes to a store?
Do you know how to read?
You know
Yes,
how
I
to
do.
read. You focus on your book. You wouldn't know who this is. He says super popular. Probably not quite as popular as he makes
not
out
as
to be.
popular in the islands.
I wonder why. I mean, there's a reason why they're imprisoned.
So you may add a book to your inventory
Alright.
if you'd like.
Bro's just gonna hand the whole party this book 1 of Smut, and then be like, "Are you done with book 1? I have book
To be
2
honest,
ready
as
for
soon as I realize what
Passion
it is,
in
which
the
would be
broken
like
wings of
another.
You can give it to the kid upstairs. He'll enjoy it.
Oh.
The
you."
12-year-old.
The 12-year-old.
Oh, he will love that book.
Y'all will have a lot more than the glycol on the
No.
deck. It's
I-
sticky shit.
As soon as I realize what it is, which would be like a day later or so, I would probably be like, "This isn't my type of book."
But now I see why he got locked up.
Yes. So right now I will say, I'm fine with you helping. We will elaborate more when the time is needed of our mission. For now, you're fine. Be as you will. And then I'm just gonna go, and now I'm actually gonna go up to my spot because I'm done conversing. I can't do it.
I'm socialed out for the day.
I literally, and
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so glad I'm just gonna be sitting up there with Jack and not speaking whatsoever.
Well, I will note that I would like to cast the Psionic Whispers.
Okay.
So, and that gives me.
When you're down there with them, so they can all speak.
Yes, so just as I'm doing stuff,
Oh,
it's
right.
within a mile, so like we're
All of you guys
well
are on the
within-
same ship. Yeah.
Yeah, so
would I know what it's from, or would it just?
for the next 9 hours.
'Cause
Well,
it's-
no,
Here's your
I
shit.
need.
Would you
I don't need it for 9
would
hours.
you talk to him? Talk to the party? Be like, "Hey, is it okay if I do this?" Or would you just do it?
No,
I would just do it.
Ring. I need to know if it would be a
It's-
good person or bad person.
Well, you would know that it's coming from. Well, you technically wouldn't know if it's coming from. Phelan.
Actually, hang on. This is choose one or more creatures you can see.
Well, I
So
figured
I would
you
have
did
to
it
give-
to the
Well, you would
people
have had
downstairs.
to. I'm assuming you would have done it
At the
downstairs
meeting.
when everyone is there.
Good.
Yeah.
Us 3.
I'll knowing that I'm downstairs. There's not much that can happen. I'll let it pass.
Okay.
And that's when you're like, oh, she can talk to me.
Yeah, that'll be nice to know. But that's also gonna fuck up even more when I'm trying to make sure I don't get fucked in that.
So, anyways, I'll just be like, so, emissary, huh? I don't know about you, but that wasn't part of what I was informed about.
Well, at the same
And-
time, who knows what information was gonna change when we were gonna get something in the morning.
It's not just anyone. This is his wife, Zimbane's wife.
Well, they probably want an envoy that won't get easily captured. And I'm assuming she's powerful enough to be the wife of a Zembane, as apparently he's a very popular and strong character. That's what I think, though.
I think this is, I don't know.
I'm
Feels
rolling-
like perhaps maybe we're not being. I understand secrecy and wanting to, only give out the information necessary, but I also. know
Is
that
this all
a delicate-
communications? So
Yeah.
can I also?
Yeah, you can, but if you want to talk to me, it has to go
Yes.
through her.
Like, yeah.
So
She'll
I'm
hear
gonna
it.
say,
Everybody-
Orville,
yeah.
what do you think?
There's definitely a lot they're not telling us. This is
I'm worried
way
we're being
different
set up
than
for
what they-
failure here.
I agree with Thalen.
What if
sure
we're some
it's-
scapegoats
I'm
to
not
start
sure if it's
another war?
Yes, not necessarily they're setting us up, but they're going to use
Setting up the
us to set
families.
us. Yes.
We need to be on high vigilance, everyone, because I think there's something going on. even I don't like it, and I'm usually a man that tries to think of everyone of good of nature unless otherwise.
There's something
Okay, that's a whole other issue that we're going to talk about
Something
at some other point.
with you.
You have to remember, I fight crime at night.
Forgot
Shut that.
No, but to think that
I
people have
try
good
to
intention
think-
is
I
funny,
try to
considering you
think-
fight crime at night.
I try to, because everyone's intention is clear when the lights go dark. And so, when it's more deceitful, it's harder for me to try to navigate it.
Fascinating.
So-
Anyways,
Bro
so
just
we're about
drops
to
that
be
bar.
so we're about to be dumped on
that
the
was
coast.
a bar.
That was a bar.
I will say that was a bar.
So we're about to be dumped on the coast with Gorthan's wife.
Do bars
Yeah.
also get
That's
kicked?
correct.
Sure. Let it be
Supposedly
known.
we're meant to.
Actually,
Supposedly we're supposed to travel to some village, and or some villages to send the carts back for all of this gunpowder, and we're supposed to trail this gunpowder across several days' journey. You know, a week's journey from coast to Ulf, right? So we're just bringing all this firepower right to their front door with his wife. I don't know. There's so many ways that this can go wrong, guys.
I mean,
so
we
many
also-
ways that this can go wrong.
We also have a hostage, technically, if needed.
And they're sitting, well, they're not there.
Assuming that we.
So
We
Namara
have
was
any
all
idea
about
what
this
we're
is a
doing.
setup.
Yeah.
She was.
Samara dies, the whole party. Guys, I've just thought of this for the first time.
I
No,
know.
I am starting to think, damn Namora. Like, it's
Yeah.
all right.
So, but I'm not part of this. And
Well, just all
yeah.
the
Yeah.
gunpowder is really throwing me off, like that being a gift, and then the wife.
and the heir to the empire
And-
supposedly.
Wait,
And
what?
Kay Discari
Oh
is
yeah,
with you guys.
yeah. That's just
And we're
a
supposed to-
recipe for
what
fucking
Once he
disaster.
goes and talks to him,
What if?
he can do whatever he wants. We're not responsible for him.
What
Yeah.
if? What if they're
That's
planning?
assuming we make it there.
What if they're
alive.
planning to blow it up in Ulf?
That. Ah, so glad you finally caught up, sir. Yes.
Oh well, no one clearly fucking said it.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's something is gonna blow it up
You
sooner
gotta
rather
talk
than
To
later.
clarify some information for you guys, or just to put some more thoughts in your brain. or
There's not
remind you
many
if
up
you-
there.
Especially
Sure, absolutely.
Even though
that's
I have
factual.
+1 intellect, I'm not good at charisma.
You
so it
guys-
actually would make
so
sense that I'm
turn
bad
back
at
on the
understanding.
The Concord is kind of relying on Maruth. So sending bombs into Ulf
Oh yeah.
would be
Yeah.
pretty counterproductive.
Yeah, but the guys who hit the base knew where we were, so it's not like they can't set
Exactly.
it off.
Like there's a lot,
Yeah.
What if
a
there's
lot
a civil
of
war
moving
within a
parts
civil
here
war?
that you guys
And
are
I'm
trying to
completely
analyze.
unaware of.
And Danny has no clue what's going on.
Poor
Well,
Danny.
and that's assuming that the Gith aren't like why were the Gith there?
That's another good
Two.
question.
The Gith.
Gith got away.
It seems. I mean, it clearly seems like the.
And the
what are the fucking
Wife
the
was already.
cardboard?
Wife would have had to already be on the ship, waiting. Because I mean, we just departed. It's not like she had time to scurry onto the ship. Like
I
she
mean-
was already there.
Okay. They said that she was away. It doesn't mean that she was gone. It could mean that she was in this ship ready to go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My guess is that she was in this ship ready to go, and I don't know. I just think it's suspicious that now we have this person. We've got the heir to the empire with us. We have 120 barrels of gunpowder, and then the Gith just show up.
I mean, okay.
No matter how
So
you
the
say it, it's something's off.
Look, I knew that. Okay, that's clear. I can understand
Let's
that.
keep a watchful eye on Alaris for one, and then also find out
Was
any
there
information about
anything-
Flynn that we can.
Was there anything you noticed suspicious about her? Because
Alaris?
please pull up the thing that you remember that she was not she was excited about people dying. Please remember that.
Oh yeah. Well,
Well,
just she wasn't excited, but
This
she
is
wasn't.
me, the
she
character.
wasn't
Me,
upset.
the person talking to you, the person.
She wasn't
To
upset.
clarify,
about
she
it.
wasn't upset about the death. She was excited with the 31. Like, it wasn't necessarily, I'm excited that people died. It's more,
I mean,
That's what I
she
thought.
just wasn't mourning all the people.
she's not mourning them. She's excited because
Stuff's
she's a
happening.
warrior. going to war.
Oh, I didn't understand that. Never mind. Retract everything about the player
No,
saying
you're
to
good,
the
you're
other
good.
player.
Well,
Your Honor, I'd like to retract my last 10 seconds of statements.
You know, and something else Plynn said that she was the ethical compass for Gorban, Zembane. Let's
She
try to make
might-
sure that ethical compass stays on the moral high ground here.
Or she could
She's-
try to dissuade the Zembane from trying to go to war with the Zemnian. Theoretically, as a last minute thing, and then they try to kill us when we're
Either
in
this
their
is a setup
court.
or this is a test, and I'm not sure who's
Neither
testing
are
us.
good, to be honest.
Neither are good.
We already failed the first test with losing one of our people, so we're not doing great.
Yes.
Though, how? Okay, the real question is we need to figure out how to get Yankee are involved in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Because they're either with the Zemnians or they're somehow with one of the Concord clan, and neither are good.
I will note that it was spoken of previously when when members of the I believe it was the
Carnivore.
no, chill.
Sorry.
One
No
shot
candy.
before the campaign started for one of the pieces of the map. The key that you guys have was retrieved when it was being sold to someone, to Zemnian forces in Cameria. Githyanki were there as well, seemingly more fighting the Concord than they were fighting the Zemnian coast.
So they might not be allies, but they're not enemies necessarily.
They might not
with
necessarily be
Zemnians.
allies, but they might not necessarily be enemies either. It kind of seems like this is turning into a bit of a love triangle, or a hate triangle, you could say, where both the Gith and the coast are enemies of the Concord, but they're not allies, but they're not necessarily friends of each other either.
And that went here.
hello.
And now you're here
We
as
didn't
I'm about to
get
call the
to
session
speak for the
off
last 10
when we finish
minutes.
this conversation.
Unfortunate. Dang, we didn't get to comment either.
Well,
I didn't expect
That
to
wasn't
see-
going to happen
we
this
Yeah,
had
time.
you
to
had
make
4
some
players.
decisions due to combat.
You guys had some
I guess
talking
that's
to
fair.
do.
We're
Um,
still doing the talking. Okay, so
We're going to review for the last 5 seconds of session. It says one word.
So, yes, So, here's my thoughts.
We haven't even gotten to land yet.
My character is not here. I'm just gonna.
Okay.
Your character is technically a part of the conversation, but
I don't care.
Yeah.
My thoughts are we keep an eye on
We progressed
we keep
like
an eye
one
on
day,
Alaris,
not miss-
figure out
Well,
what information we can
missed a
find
lot.
out on Plynn, if any at all. And then at the very least perhaps get on her good side as much as we see her. And then do some real prepping. We should come up with some sort of, if we can, some sort of contingency plan.
I think that's
What's gonna happen?
a good call.
For,
We also need to decide if we're going to include Little Man. Is how small are you?
he's a tiefling.
I'm 5.
Oh.
I'm 5'10".
Oh,
He's
yeah, so
Not small.
tiny.
My feather
Fucking
makes me 6'8".
small.
I have a
we
very big feather.
need to decide if we're gonna, how much we're gonna include the tiefling in our conversations from now on. Do we want to? Because he's gonna be the healer.
Yes.
He's gonna be with us.
I do think it's wise for us to have a human.
Whatever we
And
How-
someone who's a talker.
How much do we want him to know?
Whatever
Do we
he
want-
knows will end up in a book, probably.
Okay, here's the thing.
If
We're
it ends
gonna
up
be.
in a book later on, that's probably fine.
We're
But
gonna-
he is on someone's bad side.
We're
Sounds
gonna
like multiple
be-
people's bad
He,
side.
okay, he's.
I say we just threaten to turn him over.
He's on the bad sides of both of the families because he wrote smut with not exactly the same names. Basically jailed for free speech, if you want to put it that way.
For free speech. Sorry, that's so funny. Continue.
So I see it as maybe almost unfair judgment, but I can't exactly be sure. What I know is that he's part of our team, and I'm not including him as much because it's a team effort. I want to know what everyone thinks about it. I think he should be involved. I don't think he should know about Cade until the meeting.
I don't think anybody should know.
Shouldn't
Okay.
know
Oh,
no
by
one,
the way.
no one besides us should
By the
know
way.
about Cade. Period. Until the meeting.
By the way, Sentius Falmore,
Yes.
full name. Not everybody knew that, I assume.
Well, I caught it during the meeting that she said that.
Well, there's
And
the
she-
last name. That's how we need to refer to him.
What's the last?
He's
name?
some ward of the
Falmore?
Cartan
Falmore.
family. Falmore.
Okay. I'll pick it up later.
So,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So next meeting.
Let's also
that-
keep an eye on Kane. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I'm assuming we probably would have noticed if he's some type of.
Do we know where Cade's sleeping at? Do we figure where he's actually at?
There are no private sleeping quarters.
He's probably just.
Besides Alaris's, correct?
Well, she has her captain's quarters.
Well, that would be very.
Would the first mate have
We
one?
want to move our areas closer to Cade as well, just in case.
You guys need to. I'm still up top.
Well, you can hear if anything happens. At least.
I will see.
If we
and
start
hear.
crowding him, he'll get suspicious and just close us off. We just need to
We
keep an eye
We
at a
also.
reasonable.
I don't know if we should include him. It's really difficult to tell. He's obviously for the Concord, but if he's also thrown in as just a pawn when he should be something more than a pawn, he might be more leaning to help us.
Say give some.
He
Because-
did seem quite shocked about the Githyanki.
Yeah.
He seemed quite shocked about everything, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But it's obviously clear that he is a helper in combat until
Obviously, yeah.
he fell in the water. But you know.
I'd say give him some of the details, not all, and try and see his hand.
Contingency plans stay between us. Period.
Yes,
Did Cade seem shocked when Flynn was?
he was.
Right up.
He did not seem super shocked. Now,
Wait,
you don't. He's also very charismatic. So, in terms of
He
keeping a
could've
straight
had it.
face,
Shocked Pikachu face, not shocked.
Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't go. Oh,
Yeah, what? He's a what? Yeah, sorcerer. So that's
he's
charisma.
charisma.
Yeah, okay, well.
I guess if this is
He's
when we're
also
still
like
downstairs,
royalty.
Cade would
Well,
still
he's
be with
royalty.
us.
It's also like 13.
Correct.
well, I would assume you establish the link, and then you guys kind of go out, and you're having this conversation after you and Cade have had your talk.
Could I have had maybe reached out to him individually with my psionic whispers?
How many people can you act?
I think
It says
4
one or more
5.
creatures I can see.
Because she
I think
no.
there's gotta be
Yes,
a limit to
because
It
I
just
was.
says one or more creatures you can
I
see up
would-
to the
no,
number. Oh
who
wait,
was
up,
the-
up to the number of creatures in your proficiency bonus. So I have
So-
4.
Okay, because I
So
remember
you plus
I
4.
wasn't part
So
of
5,
the
yeah.
conversation
You also
when we
were
were.
You were on a roof somewhere.
No, like
When we
not
originally-
that, but when we were in the building.
So here's why. She activates it. Everyone she can see
Ah,
after gets
that's
it.
right. Okay,
and
never
then
mind.
people can
Yeah.
spread out from there.
Yeah.
You were not physically there. And either way,
But
she
also,
can
we
only
wouldn't
do
have
4
that many people.
Yeah.
That's why I was
I
saying.
mean, yeah, you could have him linked
So I
and
guess
then
not.
not let him in on the rest of the
Well, here's
conversation.
the thing. Who all would you have linked? These two.
Definitely these 2.
Winton, Bjorn.
I wouldn't have done Bjorn if I'm honest.
That's rough.
So
I probably
Winton-
would have done Winton.
Bjorn would be like.
That's 1, 2,
coming the
3.
entire time.
So you get one more.
So,
So
I
you would have
would
done
I
all-
would have choose Cade. I wouldn't include him in the whole conversation, but I would try to reach out to him and be like,
Valid.
"Was Flynn a shock to you?
Valid.
Cade's going
Did you know
to say,
about this?"
I wasn't supposed to know, but I was fairly certain from something Kenneth mentioned that she hadn't left yet. I was here when she first arrived.
What's your impression of her?
She kind of freaks me out, if I'm going to be honest. She mentioned that she was from beneath the earth. I don't know of many creatures from the Underdark.
What are your thoughts on the fact that he sent his wife and not just another political figure?
To me, that means one of 3 things. Either, firstly, she was the best man for the job, in which case I would be even more worried about having him on the lower docks.
I know. That's there's all over.
If it was meant to be a extraordinary showing of what one could call grace and willingness to participate in the alliance. That would make sense.
I don't see
sending
why.
his wife alone.
Yes, but from what we understand of Gorthan,
Well, I don't know. I doubt any of us really do. He's a Maruthian horde.
yes, exactly. Do many horde polluter come off as graceful to you?
Not particularly, but also many of them have not killed members of the royal family of the Zemnian Empire. Gortham, from what little I've heard of Maruth, is one of the few that you could call tactical. He's been known to use bits of intrigue, which is exceedingly rare for Maruth. While I would not compare him to any Concordian, Sanguine, Seahawk, or Zemnian Leviathan, he's better than the rest of his kind. And that's not really saying much, but for them it quite possibly could be.
I think come up with contingency plan maybe at night, and then
It's been explained to me once, but I'll ask again. What exactly is your purpose here? And I would like to insight his response, whatever it might be.
Cade is going to say, my purpose here is to reveal myself to Gortham in a similar way as his wife revealed herself to Kenneth and Giram. I am of similar worth to the Concord as a whole, if they knew of me, which many obviously do not. In the same way a high-value representative was sent to us, I am being sent to him. Likely it will be no more than a agreed upon time for the attack, as it seems Gortham is chomping at the bit.
And I'd like to insight to see if he's maybe withholding something, or if maybe
Okay,
he's
go
not
ahead.
super confident in the response.
I will roll a competing charisma check.
19. Oh wait, just kidding. That's a 9,
oh no.
right? Yes, that's the 9. Okay, 9. So that'd be 22.
Oh, a 22. He seems to be. He may be withholding something, but from what you can tell, you don't have any reason to necessarily believe it.
Okay.
Like, he's very flat toned. He almost seems a little annoyed that you're contacting him.
He is.
Listen, do you want? All right. Well, thank you for your candor. Are you wanting to be parts of, read in on communications between us or not?
I am supposed to be part of your group, so I believe that would be useful, especially if you're making any kind of contingency, as if things were to go wrong here.
Oh, absolutely. We expect things to go wrong. There's too many things stacked against us. What we'd like to do is we'd like to create some sort of, I think plan is a very poor word for it, but some sort of idea of what we should do once we get to land if something goes wrong. Because I do expect something to go wrong, or for us to end up in a shithole somehow.
The gunpowder was unexpected, in my side. I did not know of it beforehand. I did not expect to know of everything, though, and it does not particularly surprise me. As I said, Gortham is a bit more tactical than most. He likely requested it.
Sorry, also another thought. How much damage, realistically, can 120 barrels?
So, to
Like,
put
can
it
this
into,
destroy a city? Well,
to
maybe
put
not
it-
a city,
to
but
put it into perspective, one of these barrels would easily cripple and sink a ship of this size, if it was not heavily reinforced.
okay, so 120 barrels could destroy a small city.
A very small city, yes.
If planned correctly, obviously. Or
If it
whatever.
was planted properly, it could, like, say, if these 122, exactly 122 barrels of gunpowder were taken into, say, Zem. Zem is a city built on top of a bog. There are 4 layers of the
Would
city.
just like
If strategically placed, it is a city in disarray.
I see.
If placed properly, these 120 could put large portions of the city into the bog. Not all of it, but large portions of it. If it was taken to a city like Pinnacle, it could blow, if was able to be properly placed, enough holes in the walls and enough properly placed portions at the shipyards to effectively cripple the shipyards of Pinnacle for current time. This is a ginormous load of explosives.
Okay. Alright. That gives me a little bit more context as to them. Okay. Lovely. Alright, well, should any more conversations occur, I shall clue you in. I'm only able to do so many voices.
I understand, and I appreciate being involved.
You're able to do more, are you not? Because he first woke us up.
Technically, yes, I can communicate with you. It is quite strenuous for me, and I can only do it for a short period of time.
I see. Okay.
I am trying to hone it into a more consistent link.
Understood. Oh, sounds lovely. We're just trying to keep an eye on find information on Plyn.
Yes.
Keep an eye on the
Also-
captain. Yada yada.
Considering Maruthian culture, I would not be surprised if when we have departed that we run into some kind of combat with some orcs that Plyn will likely lead us into. I wouldn't be surprised. They will likely not try to kill us, but they will test us. And they're not afraid to lose warriors on testing their enemies.
Yeah, we got that impression as well.
So,
Love it.
let us be careful along the way.
Sounds like a wonderful idea. For right now, let's get to dealing with some ropes.
Let's get to dealing with some ropes, or wood. So, with that, I am going to ask you guys a very simple question.
Oh.
How much more are you guys wanting to do on the ship ride to the coast? Because there's a couple more points of things I want to hit. As you guys pass the Rift of Bones, there's going to be some stuff you see. And then as you get closer to the coast, there's going to be some stuff you see. How much conversing or planning would you guys like to do in session before we get to the coast?
Next session, I want to actually all of us discuss a contingency
Yeah,
plan.
there's a lot
Okay.
of
I would like
We
to,
need
I would
to
like to
actually
have
have
another
everyone
conversation
here.
with Alaris.
Okay.
And then I would like to try and connect with Plyn some, or
Okay.
have one of us connect with
I
Plyn.
I think I want to talk to Jack. Maybe with him being smaller, he might catch something.
Also develop this relationship.
Yeah,
Some-
figure out more about that.
Okay.
Decide how exactly we would like to
Okay.
There's a
incorporate
lot
So-
of
them.
shit Bryce needs to do.
So there's at least like 4 or 5 big conversations that I feel like need to happen.
Okay.
Or big.
Would you be trying to have those early in the ride, like right now, today, or
You've got
I
4 or
I
5
would
days.
probably prefer
because
to
you got
wait
4 days?
a day, let everybody settle into kind of what we're doing. Just keep an eye on people, a day or
Okay.
two, keep an eye on people, and then
little
have a
bit of
conversation.
smoothing.
Okay, so how about this? So I'm going to say we're going to skip 2 days deeper into the travel.
Okay.
I would like someone to roll me 2d10s.
You roll. We put our dice up.
I-
So
How
you got
well
my
do
roll.
I
got mine.
All right,
succeed
Claire.
in
It's up to
my
you.
ingratiating
Roll 'em up
myself
here.
to the
Never mind, you have
captain
middle dice.
I have middle
and
dice.
members of the
The
crew?
captain doesn't really care for you all that
Oh my
much.
Here, wait a minute.
Oh, there you
Nobody
go.
really
Roll that.
dislikes
Let's see
you
him.
in any particular way. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
I can't see that.
That's a 9 and a 7.
9 and a 7? Okay.
I hope those are
Well, it's. I don't know.
I don't remember. I think that's
The wind stays at your back, but you guys do hit storms.
Okay.
25.
25. Okay, so as I said, Alaris doesn't care for you in the slightest, really. She acknowledges your existence and uses you for whatever help you're willing to provide. You do kind of cozy up to Gentar and Bentu a little bit more. In fact, I might give you a little bit of information on the pair of them. Look that up. Obviously, you're communicating with the party a little bit. I might send you a list of names and be like, which of these names would you like to try and ingratiate yourself with?
Okay.
I would also like to establish some connection with the with the powder puppies.
With the powder
Because
puppies?
if I'm gonna
The powder
be,
puff-
if we're
the
gonna
powder
be
puff
traveling
boys.
with 122 barrels, I don't know. It might not be bad to have a powder puppy.
They do not know that it's down there.
They probably
Just
should.
FYI.
I realize, but it would probably be good
we
to
probably
establish some
should
sort
not
of.
tell
You want to
Hey,
tell
let's
it-
be friends. You should
How
come
would
with us,
you
like,
take
help us handle this because my God.
when he offers you
I was just about to ask, so I know Orville and Namara were close. And would Namara have known the exact name of the author who was writing it?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, she
And I know you would have talked to my character about it.
Oh no.
So I immediately would recognize. I would have not said anything.
right.
Still take the book for research purposes.
That's
But I definitely,
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely
He's
I
gonna
recognize.
need to
dropped
prestidigitate his pants a little bit more.
I dropped the book in the Discord if anyone wants, so you can look it up and add it to your inventory.
Well, I already did.
Yeah. So
now knowing that we did
Yeah.
2
This
days,
will
I don't
probably
even
be
need to
top.
add it.
So-
I would give it back to you by that point. I'd be like, you are very good with your words, but I do not
I
need
like
this type
your
of.
funny words.
I like your words, funny man.
So I will note to you guys.
Yes.
So we will come back
On a full moon.
midday. Actually, no, it was a full moon the night you guys fought.
It was.
Son of a
One of the
bitch.
moons was full. The other
One
was
of the
not.
moons was full.
The other was, like,
Elenus.
not visible.
I don't
Elenus-
know if that really matters with werewolves.
Elenus, which is the pallid moon, the white moon, more like ours, was full. Alaris,
I need
or
to-
Elaras,
Yeah.
was a waxing
Because
crescent.
Yes.
Shit. Should
which I legitimately did research on
okay.
what 2 moons would do to the tides, so Namaro could give corrections to steering. It's like
I would
It's gone now.
I would've
Namara's
known
done.
that you have
she's
those
gone.
guys,
I
though.
played
I
a
would've
Dumbo.
done it.
What was
Yeah.
that?
When it comes
I
to
was
ships.
going to. I wanted to ask your character about sending
It'll be
your scouts
also
to look
interesting
for
to
that
see how the big guy takes it and how
You don't know my
Uh,
guy.
I know. That's why I'm
That's the
saying I
thing,
wouldn't
you
have done it.
just- Yeah, I'd say if you were doing
takes,
your work in a little closer
the
area.
hit piece.
I mean,
off.
I was
already down
looking at.
here.
Alright,
Or
you
if
were
I
Donation
even-
to
I was
Sarah,
Alright, can I get everyone's attention real
Yes.
quick? So we will pick back up at midday on Quintus 13th of the month of Kochia. And you guys are going to be approaching on that day the Rift of Bones.
Okay. Okay.
As the wind has stayed at your back due to the rolls that were just made, you guys did experience storms though, so it did slow you down a little bit.
Zach, would I have noticed his conversation with the Seahawks?
Oh, I doubt
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I highly
very
doubt
doubtful.
that.
Didn't think so. Okay.
Very, very doubtful.
That's why I'm
He
not
definitely would have
bothered.
gone off on his own.
Yeah,
So I'm going to go ahead and end the
drink.
recording there. I'll
Yeah.
see you guys in 2 weeks. I do have one other thing I want to talk with you guys about though.